everyone. Thank you for joining in today. This is the second day of our annual healthcare conference, FICCI HEAL 2024. And we welcome you to this very important session for us, the startups pitching on the theme Innovations in Digital Health. Apologies for a bit delay of the session because the first session got delayed a bit. And just to briefly inform you, the startups pitching session on innovations in digital health was set to showcase groundbreaking solutions in digital health, focusing on enhancing patient care, improving healthcare delivery, and increasing accessibility through innovative technologies. We had envisioned this session as a platform for emerging entrepreneurs in digital health space. Our endeavor is to support them and connect them to mentors and investors from the government as well as the industry. So I welcome you all to all the pitchers as well as the jury members and mentors present today. We are expected to join some more mentors from the industry in the due course. But to save time, we'll just initiate the session as of now. I would like to welcome the members of the jury for today's pitching session. That is Dr. Suchita Markan, Scientist and Mission in Charge for Medical Device and Diagnostics, Mission Secretariat, ICMR. Mr. Sameer Kanwar, Director, Digital Health, India and South Asia Hub for PATH. Please come to the dais, sir. Ma'am, thank you. Dr. Shyam Vasudhaiv Rao, Founder and Director, Renalix Health Systems, Forus and RX DHP. Dr. Vishal Bhardwaj, Senior Entrepreneurship Program Manager for CCAMP Bangalore. Mr. Sahil Madan, Venture Capital Analyst, Asian Healthcare Fund. Please come to the dais. And we're also expected to join by Dr. Oomen John, Senior Program Officer from BMGF. So we'll let you know. Sorry? Yeah, that's sorry. He should join in soon too. Yeah. So I would request Dr. Suchita Markan to share her opening remarks, followed by Mr. Sameer Kanwar and Dr. Rao. After that, we will have the pitching session. And then in the end, we will have remarks from our jury. Sorry, there are no awards today as such, but we have mentors and industry people as well as the government representatives here. And as I said earlier, our aim here is to give you a platform to network with them. And after the conference, the jury will help us select some of you from whom we can take forward to be connected to the industry people. So I hope this will be a helpful platform for you all, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky, for inviting me here, and Shilpa for giving the opening remarks for the session. It's really interesting to hear about a startup pitch wherein we don't see an actual pitch, but a mentorship session. So that's amazing, and it's a very different thing. In fact, in the morning, I was trying to talk to these people to understand, do we have to select some of the entrepreneurs among these 12 startups which have been selected? But they mentioned that the idea is to give them a platform wherein they can network and see. We should be excited about these innovations and see how we can help them. So that's in line with the mandate of the government as well, and of the MedTech Mitra, which is the Niti Aayog initiative, wherein we are trying to help innovators surpass the valleys of death and see how we can help them convert their prototypes into a product which can be absorbed by the public sector at large. So the theme is great, and I'm really excited and looking forward to interact with these startups and see how we can help. Thank you once again.
Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of FICCI, I would like to actually welcome all the innovators who are going to pitch today. I know it does become tiring. I've done my own startup. I understand, when you go to various forums and start pitching, after some time, you really feel tired about it. So I'm sure this is going to be exciting. And we at Path, have been in the process of supporting a lot of startups and innovations, and we understand that it's not about money. Actually, very specifically to the health sector, the support required is probably how do you negotiate the regulatory space, how do you negotiate the validation frameworks, where do you get the data from. So I think those are larger challenges than probably looking at only funding, and I hope that this process which you are going through enables you to get access to a lot of other things more than the funding which are required specifically in the health sector. We are looking at scale up. How do you cross the valley of death, both of them? One for the initial pilot, and then how do you look at scale up, and how do you get technologies into public health? I think that's another space which we need to really work very hard on in terms of how does the private sector get access to being able to use those innovations in the public health space, because that's where the actual scale and challenges are. So I hope all this gets covered post the pitching sessions which we have today, and all the best to all of you. Thank you so much.
Hello, good morning. I see this another interesting session because startup, we have been working in FICCI for quite some time promoting startups, and I've been the co-chair for the FICCI Medical Device Forum and taking care of only startups. So here the idea is also that we see how we can not just create sort of a pitching session and then put you in front of some investor, potential investors and all that. It's to build the ecosystem. And at FICCI Heal, we have, you might have seen the type of sessions going on and all that, and the type of people who are here, where you are trying to see right from regulatory to procurement to government policies, and of course all the hospitals, major hospitals, management and all that. They are all here, and we thought that this may be a good opportunity for you guys to pitch your ideas and take this opportunity to connect with them. And this is going to be a great start for the startups in this healthcare space, particularly in the area of digital health, because everybody is talking about digital health today. And with all the AI, ML and all that coming in big way and getting its acceptance, and a lot of these products also getting an FDA approval, there is a huge opportunity, I would say, in front of you to basically look at these ideas, and prevention, prediction, predictive health, and all these are going to become the most important things. So let's see how the startups are. And from our end, we have been involved in screening them, and we have you are some of the ones who have been selected. So congratulations for that, and all the best for your pitching. Thank you.
Thank you, eminent dignitaries, for your remarks. We'll now start with the pitching session of Group 1, TRL level 1 to 6. So each presenter will be given 5 minutes to present, and then 5 minutes for the Q&A. And there'll be an alarm at 4 minutes to indicate the last minute for the presentation. I will now invite Mr. Rakesh Patil, the CEO, and Ayush Itam, the growth manager, to present on the Accessibility Redefined Private Limited. Please join us for your presentation.
Hello everyone, wish you all a very good morning. My name is Ayush, I am the growth manager at Accred, and he is Mr. Rajesh Patil, who is the CEO. So I would like to start off by giving you a brief history of what Accred is and how we came into existence. So this is our short story. We used to be in the car rental industry, where we observed that senior citizens and the differently abled people, they had a lot of mobility issues. They could not easily enter and exit vehicles, they could not easily climb stairs, they could not access buildings, they could not access a lot of public spaces. So their life was made very difficult because of this. Now, we have over 2.6 crore differently abled people and a rapidly growing senior citizen population, and then also people who have other problems such as arthritis, osteoporosis, and so on and so forth. So despite of the new norms which are being set into place, like by Accessible India campaign and then Rights for Persons with Disabilities Act, a large amount of places still remain inaccessible. So what are our solutions to this? So our solutions are portable, compact, and also we can retrofit them into places which do not have accessibility. So over there you can see our modular ramp that's completely customizable. These are our telescopic ramps, and under those are our suitcase ramps. All of these are customized as per the customer's needs, and they are portable. Here you can see the product as it is.
These are the products. This is a suitcase RAM, what we call, easy to use, easy to carry. This will make it at 1 feet to around 8 feet. Then we have a special society RAM which will show you.
So this is our innovation. It's called Society Ramp. So a lot of societies have narrow entrances. So this ramp folds onto the wall. It maintains the gradient and you don't have to carry it everywhere, and it does not create any kind of hindrance to any place where it is installed. And it comes in all kinds of lengths and sizes as per your requirement. This is our prototype. It's called a car transfer seat. It's a hybrid seat which also acts as a wheelchair. It can be used by both people who are fit as well as people with mobility challenges. So you can see how it works in this video.
There is less of modification. You don't have to, only the seat has been modified. So you can use the car as it is, and your warranty stands itself. So you don't have to do any changes. So later on when the seats are not required, you can remove it and use the original seat, and your car can be used again for the same. This is a proto stage. It will be ready by this month end. So we are trying to see how we can approach the taxi aggregator and give it, and the product should be available at large for the people, not individually having those things.
These are some of the lifts which we sell. We have a sole selling agency for the lifts of the cars, and then there's a passenger lift which we install into buildings. This lift was installed so that people could access a swimming pool over here. We have different kinds of safety mechanisms which we give along with this lift, and we also give them 1 year of warranty with it.
So our main target is to see how public mobility is available, and so people can reach out to the maximum, and as per the government norm, inclusive education, inclusive employment. So there is a challenge always how you can bring a person to the offices, how you can bring a person to the school, and vice versa with the economical transportation. That is what we are working on.
These are some of our upcoming products. That's a wheelchair carrier. So a lot of the hatchbacks nowadays have small boots. You cannot carry wheelchairs in them. So we are making a wheelchair carrier where all the vehicles will be able to carry a wheelchair along with them. Next to it is a house transfer seat. So this is used to mobilize and move around patients within their house. You can move them up and down and then around rooms using that lift. The last one is a platform lift. So a lot of the staircases, they have small platforms, so you can't install bigger ramps over there. And then even if you do install ramps, the gradient becomes too steep, and then it's not possible to push the people up the ramp. So this lift will ensure that they don't have to get out of their wheelchair to go on some seat or anything like that. It just moves along with the wheelchair, and then they can access the higher floors and elevations. So these are some of the useful government initiatives. Obviously, the Accessible India campaign, the RPW Act. MahaRERA also has some new norms which ensures that everyone is catered to. And then there are government employment mandates which state that 3% PWDs must be employed in all corporates, and 5% reservation is given to people with special needs in educational institutes for higher studies. These are some of our competitors who have similar products. We support and sponsor the wheelchair cricket team of Mumbai, and then
So every year we sponsor them for Tata Marathon, or at least 30 people with a wheelchair, or to see that, and along with that the caregivers also sponsored.
So we are featured in the UN Compendium for Smart Solutions. We are incubated by BITS Pilani. We are featured in Midday. We also have received an award from CII in Power 100. These are some of our esteemed clients. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any questions?
I think it's a very good product and
Thank
very
you, sir.
good field to approach. There are certain things like regulatory
Yes, sir.
safety. Where are you with that?
So we are also with CSR Nagpur, and regularly we are forming 1:10 ratio, what is required by the government. So that is all norms we are following it, and we also associated with the Social Justice Ministry for supporting the norms, because the major challenge what norms we are following is all international, which is not applicable over here. So we have to make products which is as per the property, whatever the places available and how you can use it.
Maybe you can try HTA because this is more for health.
Yes, sir.
Patient is one. And it's also important that you need to, when you are talking about automobile,
Yes, sir.
you have to follow some of the automobile standards.
Yeah, we are, once the product is ready, we have spoken to ARI, which is Automotive Research Authority of India. So there also we have given the application, because once they install in some other vehicles, so it should be approved. So we are with that.
Very good.
So I will require your supports for all those.
Commercialization, that's very important.
Yes, sir. And we are targeting mainly all the hatchbacks vehicles, so accessibility should be available too. And we are working with the CSR, where they are sponsoring some of the event. Like we want them to sponsor this car seats to the corporates, and so that they can bring people to the offices and take them.
And just another question, have you patented any of these designs?
We had given this one of the patent for the car seat. We had applied.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice to hear from you. So I'm interesting to note Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is
Yes.
the ministry which is looking at assistive technologies.
Yes.
And as sir mentioned, there would be a narrow line between whether it will be a medical device or not. It's again a question. It will all depend upon the intended use statement. What is the intended use statement you are trying to focus on this product?
So mainly now a lot of people have challenges, like those who have dialysis and all. They are confined to their house, and while coming out, the approach to the lift is a challenge. So there we come and make their life easy to the caregiver as well as the family people. So
Basically, there are two things. One is if you treat this, the intended use statement is for a wellness purpose. It's
Yes,
a
sir.
wellness product. Then no regulatory is applicable
okay,
in India. But if you make the intended use statement linked with a specific kind of a disease, as you mentioned, for the treatment, diagnosis, or management of
Okay.
patients, something related to healthcare, very specific, as you mentioned, for dialysis patients, then it will become
no, the
regulated.
transportation part is required for them from the house to the dialysis center. So that while coming out of the house, then you require 4 people to lift them from, if there is a stairs. So there we install the ramp. So as you rightly said
It
it.
will also come into picture if it is a regulated device. Unregulated devices, we do not do HTA because you need to have some data published, you need to have regulatory approval for it to become eligible for HTA. So the
Okay.
positioning of this into healthcare sector will become more relevant.
Okay.
Maybe you can have a multi-pronged strategy, maybe bi-pronged strategy on using it as some products with different kind of a trade name
Okay. Okay.
can be positioned for maybe wellness kind
Oh,
of
I got it.
thing, general purpose, not typical to healthcare. But for us to take it forward and evaluate it as a healthcare technology, maybe some product you will have to position as a healthcare product for a specific purpose, and that can be validated
Okay.
through some kind of a study, or then HTA can happen on it.
Okay.
But Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is the right ministry for that, wherein I'm not sure if they even need any kind of regulatory approvals. And
So-
as sir mentioned, industrial design will become very important for you because technology per se may not be
I got
different. It's very generic. But look and feel of the device, the industrial design would be some kind of an IP you can look at.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And the SOPs to use, maybe they can also be a part of the copyright protection.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. This is Dr. Vishal from Indian Healthcare Angels. We have a portfolio company called Buddy Mobility Care, and right now we are importing a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
So we'll be very happy to connect you to our portfolio company. Lady is Sartaj Lamba, and we can talk offline. But I think to me, it's still a business which probably really is a social-driven business than a commercial-driven business, and I haven't really been able to get a hang that why should an angel invest in your venture. So maybe we could discuss it separately on
Okay,
that,
sir.
right? Given the time frame. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Just to add to what the other juries have said, I think probably this doesn't fit into the health sector or the medical space in terms of regulatory frameworks which you are looking at. For example, let's say the seat which you showed is more to do with the automotive because you're changing the seat means how does the airbag function, right? Who gives you the clearances to probably be able to change those seats and all safety factors to it. That's one consideration. Second, you said you are complying with some international regulations. Can you just spell them out? And are you only looking at the Indian market or are you looking at beyond India in terms of?
So internationally, a lot of these products are available. In India, there is a challenge for such type of products, and it has to be customized as per the Indian standard. So normally, in internationally, you get cars also which are accessible. But the challenge over here, even if the buses are now accessible, people can't go into the buses. Like we have to train, so we have to first educate our local publics and give them accessible under the India Accessible campaign. That is our whole motto. And once we master those things, then it is easy to export, sir, and once we patent it.
Yeah, so for ramps, there's ADA rule, so that says that 1 foot of elevation should have 12 feet of ramp. And the harmonized guidelines of India are on the similar lines. So they're essentially the same norms. We follow those for our ramps, which are supposed to be permanent. But for the temporary ones, we can't really do that because then they become too big and then they lose their portability. But yes, whenever requested, we always comply with the norms. Depends on the client.
Just to end, you spoke about you just showed the names of your competitors.
Yeah.
And it would be good to show how your technology is different from them, right? Because
Yes,
in the
so
interest of time, we can discuss later. But
okay, sure, no problem.
otherwise, the IP point was raised, and it's a well-argued point that if it is something so generic and if it becomes popular, you will have competitors.
Yes.
Will be able to make. So, how strong your IP is?
Just a point that as we were discussing that since this is great application as an assistive technology may also fall under the domain of healthcare. So if you want our guidance on how do you make it, position it as a healthcare technology,
Yes.
I think MedTech Mitra can help you out.
Okay.
You can just put in an application one-pager.
Yes, ma'am.
We will guide you because
Definitely.
independently you might not be knowing how to do it, but we can guide you, we can talk to you over the call and guide you on how do you take it forward
Okay.
in that direction. And maybe that strategically they can have two kind of business propositions wherein you also keep doing what you're doing and you also try to build another way wherein you can see how it can fit into a healthcare sector.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patil and Itam, for your presentation. Next presentation is from Vedcare Innovation Private Limited, and I invite Mr. Rohan Agarwal, the founder director, to make his pitch, please.
Hello. Hi. Should I start? So first of all, good morning, everyone. My name is Rohan Agarwal, founder at Vedcare. Before starting Vedcare, a bit about my background. So I'm an IIT Roorkee alumni. Before starting Vedcare, I worked in some of the top labs in the world at IISc Bangalore and Technion Israel. At Whitcare, I'm not able to change the slide. I'm not sure. Yeah. So at Whitcare, we have developed the world's first zero electronic health testing kit that can provide quantitative results in a rapid format for key biomarkers, starting with TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone for thyroid disorders and HbA1c for diabetic patients. Most patients in tier 2 cities and below drop off when they are prescribed a blood test. In fact, more than 60% of these patients drop off. This is because they, to get a blood test, they have to spend up to 2 to 3 days and up to $60 in access cost when accessing a blood test from a location which is at least 15 to 20 kilometers away from these facilities. Unfortunately, most diagnostic labs have been unable to provide specialized testing in these smaller cities due to poor unit economics because of a fairly complex logistics setup. This has led to a situations where we as a country are doing only 5% of what the world does. This has led to a massive penetration gap and a massive opportunity to make an impact in this space. With our solution MuSure, we can provide quantitative results in under 20 minutes without any capital expenditure required in a rapid measurable format. It enables anytime, anywhere testing in with an intuitive design and a simple to use process. With our first product for TSH, for monitoring and for screening and management of hyperthyroidism, a critical problem in affecting almost 1 in every 10 Indians. Even a bigger use case for that is during pregnancy, where a single blood test can prevent 55% of adverse outcomes, leading to lower miscarriages, lower birth weight positions, among others. The second product is a product for HbA1c, which is a critical test for diabetes management, scalable to n number of other markers. Our solution provides results in a liquid level format where we track changes in liquid level, eliminating electronics whatsoever. We have 2 lines, and the difference in the 2 lines is what we measure. The higher the difference, the more is the reading. Our solution in preclinical studies have given a 99.7% correlation with an ELISA test, with a 90% user satisfaction in an independent product usability study. We have 6 patents, with our key patents already granted in the US, EU, Japan, China, and India. We are currently in preclinical stage, recently been completing our DFM evaluation studies, and we are hopefully expected to start our clinical evaluation studies in the next 2 months. Our solution can provide results within the same patient visit so that the patient does not have to make a repeat visit to the doctor or to the lab. So a patient travels to the clinic, the doctor prescribes a blood test, the test is conducted within the same visit, and results available in less than 30 minutes. So the patient goes back with the home with the final prescription. This is critical this will be critical in settings such as clinics, small hospitals, and telemedicine, where they can be deployed with no capital investment whatsoever. This is specifically focused right now at high income industrial and agricultural areas in India, and scalable to similar settings outside India as well. We are the only company in the world which can provide high precision quantitative results without any upfront cost or commitment to be used at point of care globally. Apart from myself, my co-founder, Dr. Saurabh Srivastava, has a double master's and PhD and leads assay development, biosensor development at Whitcare. We have been recipients of some of leading awards in India and the world, having won the India Innovation Growth Program in 2019, which FICCI was a co-organizer of, which is the biggest innovation competition in the world, in India, and Procter & Gamble Health Award in Singapore in 2021 as well. Currently, we are actually also raising $500,000 to complete our clinical performance evaluation and be manufacturing and distribution ready in the next 6 to 8 months period. Thank you.
Yeah, can you quickly explain how this works?
So we pick up
Because there are two microfluidic channels and there is one sample input.
yeah.
So how
So
do
there's
you-
a whole like system in place. So you prick your finger, you add it here,
Yeah,
and with a few drops of a reagent, and in about 15 to 20 minutes, you get 2 lines, which is what we are tracking. So basically it's a volume amplification system rather than optical or chemiluminescence signaling molecules. We are actually doing a volumetric amplification over here. So rather than HRP or other kinds of ligands, we have put up a very large bulky microparticle, and we use that to track difference in binding.
okay. He's mixing with the sample.
Sorry? So the control, we are using a different approach. We are using a non-specific antibody to get a control.
So this comes preloaded with that control.
Yeah.
For every test you have a separate such a chip.
Yes.
For HbA1c you have some one, then for the other. But
Yeah.
basic technology is the same.
Yeah. So HbA1c is a small typo over there in the markup. It's HB and HbA1c, not control and test.
Okay.
But it's the same. Yeah.
What is the cost of the device in the life of this product?
So we are looking for at a retail price of between $5 to $6 for deployment in the specific. Obviously, when you're buying in bulk and for deployment in public health setting, this can be brought for significantly down. But to enable distribution in remote settings, you need significant margins for all the stakeholders in between. So that's why the price is close to that.
Yeah, Rohan, this product seems to be of quite interest to the government, particularly when we are looking at NCDs. The program for NCDs and diabetes is a major thing. HbA1c is the marker we are looking at. But you mentioned that you've already received the grant or what? You've already raised funds and
Yeah.
you're not, and the validation partners are also frozen. Is it so? I would like to understand.
So for TSH, which was our first market that we started working on, we have closed the validation partners, but for HbA1c we have not yet closed.
Yeah, I think HbA1c would be of more interest to ICMR, particularly the program, NCD program. So I would advise that you definitely get in touch with us. This is a very good technology. And actually we are looking at point of care technology for screening of diabetes. And this seems to be a potential product which can be very quickly validated. So even if you are validating this technology from other sources, we will be happy to validate it through ICMR. And MedTech Mitra is the portal wherein maybe we can exchange cards and you can just put in an application and we'll fast track it for review and support the entire process of validation.
So
And test license is also there, that's good. But cost is definitely on the higher side.
We can
Yeah,
we can work on the costing part because that's something that we have to account for the distributors and for the retailers. But if you were to deploy it in a public health setting, selling it to only a single party, then the cost can be brought down significantly because we are not it can be brought down to $2.5 as well.
Yeah, because MedTech Mitra is a very interesting portal wherein not only we will validate the product technology, but if it is good, then we will also recommend it for HTA. Even NHSRC is part of the complete MedTech Mitra system. So we can also recommend it for state pilots. Ultimately, our mandate would be to recommend it to the government for procurement in volumes for the program, if it works well.
how is this different from a lot of other products which are available, which don't require a prick as well, right? So non-invasive products are available for measuring hemoglobin. So have you done a comparison somewhere as to how do they compare and how are they different?
So they only measure HB. We have to measure HbA1c here. So that's not something that currently those products can do. So HbA1c is very difficult to measure through optical readings. But they can only measure HB. So HB is easier to measure, but HbA1c is fairly complex to measure because you have multiple kinds of ACs, A1C, A2C and all that.
Just one question on the distribution strategy. You said that you're targeting high income agricultural areas, is that right?
Well-off areas, not exactly high income तो नहीं होता कुछ भी, but
Right.
mostly well-off areas.
Right,
Because they have shown paying capacity even to visit a distant facility for consultation and testing in the past. So we'll be using that data. So basically, we have found that a lot of patients in these settings. Basically, when you look at the doctor's perspective, they are able to prescribe 5 to 10 tests per patient per day for HbA1c and even more for TSH. So we are using that as a reference point.
Got it. So what is stopping them from going to traditional diagnostic centers which are more reliable and from the point of view of that the product is new, right? And awareness campaigns, etc. What's gonna stop them from visiting since they are already well off, right? And in the well off areas, what's gonna stop them from going to traditional?
There's a significantly high cost in both in time and money that is involved in accessing of those labs. While the cost per test may not be that high, but the cost of accessibility and the time and strain of doing that is significantly high, and that's why around 2/3 of all patients do not follow through.
Got it. And you have conducted some studies to back this.
Yeah, we have also done our own studies, and this is also a very well reported data, not just in India but on a global level. In fact, if you look at data from the US, in emergency care, 70%, more than 70% patients do not really do a follow-up, even when they're prescribed a follow-up. So there's a significant issue that follow-up is a big problem in all kinds of settings, not just in remote settings.
So removing the follow-up
Yeah.
angle. Got it.
I have just one question. Just one question. I'm Dr. Gaur. I'm a diagnostic pathologist. HbA1c is important, perfectly fine. But one question on HbA1c. Have you validated against in thalassemia minors or trait? That's something a lot of variation takes place. Number two, second question, I think equally important, I looked at TSH. The thyroid, TSH is a very important parameter. When you require, say, cord blood, newborn, antenatal, pregnancy journey, and of course, especially the women, the menopause, or the menarche, and the follow-up. So what is the range of the TSH probably? Or only accept the normal one, or a cord blood sample, or maybe it's more than 100, you give the more than 100 of the value, or a lower minus. Have you validated all that? Or do you have something on that?
Sure. For the HbA1c, we have not done those studies yet. We have been able to get fairly precise data when we are using blood samples in the lab settings, but we are yet to do a high volume study where we can validate all the different kinds of patient. I think one of the reasons we are asking for, we are actually raising money is to get the molds done and get towards that stage. Second, on the TSH front, currently the solution is designed to be able to measure up to 15 MIU per liter sample concentrations, which covers more than 90% of all hypothyroidism patients. The same product in the current form cannot be used for cord blood, but it is specifically designed to cater to pregnancy, because pregnancy, as you know, is a critical issue in India, and 1 in 2 women struggle with that, especially in rural areas. So high level public scale deployment can really affect the various maternal and neonatal complications in that. The same product can obviously be repurposed and designed for neonatal screening, newborn screening as well. So that's something that would be something of our next stage with the TSH product.
What I understand is that maybe it's at the stage of proof of concept, early proof of concept, and that validation study, as you can think of, maybe the startups need hand-holding support even to plan a robust clinical validation protocol, and then it will see the light of the day.
I have a question, please. Good morning, I'm Dr. Sapna Sardana. I want to know, whatever tests you have been doing, have you tested against the existing test? Are they similar results, or are your results better? What is it exactly?
So our results are similar to the gold standard test or the market standard test, such as the ELISA and chemiluminescence, in terms of correlation that we basically study, or accuracy, what you also sometimes refer to it. Not exactly same, but similar to that. And when so that was using serum. Now, our validation studies cannot be done on serum because serum makes it not suitable for point of care. So, the next stage of our studies is with blood. We have tested blood extensively in our labs, but we have to do it on a third-party clinical evaluation. So, that would be our next step. So, that's why we.
Thank you.
That's one of our next steps.
I have a question. So, how do you see this in the market? Do you see it as a self-test or assisted self-test, or what is your go-to-market on this?
So, stage 1 would be something to put it in public health settings. Stage 2 would be to deploy in these kinds of small cities and remote areas. In the next stage, we can see with the product awareness growing, it can become a product for OPD settings in even slightly larger cities where high earlier results are required, and then maybe if the market demands, then it can be transitioned to a self-test. Not right away, but it's a gradual cycle of 5 to 10 years before it is possible to get it to a self-test market, not so much because of the product, but more so because of the market readiness.
And so, related question, the reagent, what is the packaging of that, and is thermostability of that? Do you need cold chain for your reagent, and how do you ensure that?
So, currently the packaging is vacuum packed, and we have studied it to be stable for up to a year.
At normal temperature?
At room temperature, yes. Room temperature is 25 degrees, so it's not possible to store anything in India at 45 degrees, just to clarify. Any kinds of products in the world cannot survive at 45 degrees.
So I have one question.
You mentioned 500K you are raising, convertible note, right? What's the cap and the floor that you're looking at?
We can discuss this separately.
Okay, you haven't thought through that?
We have thought through that. I just want to discuss it.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, Varun this side from Niti Aayog Rohan. Yeah, this side. Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation, and this is certainly very important area of focus that MedTech Mitra, Atal Innovation Mission and everyone is focusing on, especially the Suchitra madam said about the NCD. This may play a very critical role in NCD control, and I have only 2-3 questions to you. The first one, have you filed the patent for this product? The second is about how you are following the quality parameter and how you are ensuring the quality and the reliability of the product you are supplying, because it will have direct impact on the public health treatment and everything. Third is what kind of report you are generating. Is it digital kind of report that can be linked with the telemedicine in future? Because we are gradually moving towards the center, and telecommunication is very important. So when we talk about teleradiology, so how you see your product to be contributing to the teleradiology in future? Thank you so much.
So firstly, we have filed close to 6 patents so far, with our key patents already granted globally in major markets such as US and Europe and Japan and China and India. Only Brazil is left among what we filed initially. Second was, yeah, so we are following ISO 13485 guidelines. We have not got the certificate yet, but that can only be received after we have completed the study. So, but we have implemented that protocol in the organization for the last 1.5 years, since 1.5 years. So, we are following that. And the last one was, you had a third question, right? Yeah, it's a digital report. We required a patient to click a picture at the end of the results. So that makes it a little more intuitive, while the product can be used without it as well, but we had done that just to make that interface to be so that the data can be uploaded on a cloud and managed through a telemedicine, in a telemedicine setup.
Thank you, Rohan, for the presenting your initiative. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my request. There are 5 minutes for the Q&A, so please adhere to the timelines. We have a lot of presenters today. Next, we move on to OSPI Healthcare, and we have with us Mr. Dr. Prakhar Singh, the co-founder, and Atindra Singh, co-founder, to make their presentation, please.
So good morning, respected DICE members and all the gatherings present here. So I am Dr. Prakash Singh.
And Atindra here.
So we are, a brother duo, and we are trying to address a fundamental problem that I have experienced in my last 15 years of critical care. The problem of having an ICU that is not as expensive as a corporate setup, and where the shortage of beds can be addressed, which is a big problem in the government setups. So as we can see on the screen, there are three major problems that we want to address. First is an expensive ICU, the limited availability of beds, and the aging population, wherein our data says that there is only 2% coverage in the insurance. And with the rapidly rising rates and the depleting insurance cover, it becomes very difficult for any family to manage their patient when it becomes critically ill. And for the masses, critical care is basically for a life-threatening condition wherein you require intensive monitoring. And I'm sure during the COVID times, everyone has experienced somebody going into the ICU.
So we've tried to understand today's patient's journey and try to map services that mimic how patients want care to be provided to them. Our fundamental premise is that there are some critical illnesses that will always require hospitalization, but there are also a lot of critical illnesses that can be managed at home. And so today, the world, at least in our opinion, requires a platform, a service methodology where patients can receive seamless care between a hospital and their home. We focus on 4 primary illnesses, kidney diseases, liver diseases, lung, and other sepsis and life-threatening illnesses. Now, these are 4 major illnesses that comprise that require usually long-term critical care. What we've done is we've partnered with hospitals that are 15 to 50 bedded in their space. These are hospitals which had physical infrastructure available but did not have the technical competence to run an ICU, both professionally and profitably. And because of Dr. Prakash's years of experience in critical care, we've built high quality SOPs in order to drive focus on care. Because of a clustered approach, we have been able to marshal resources and reduce the overall cost of ICU care. Next slide. Now, how does this ecosystem help? So there is a value for hospitals and there is a value for patients when we do this. The value for hospitals is what I'll cover first. There is improvement in brand value. And a hospital that can boast of an ICU capability is also seriously taken in perception by patients. It obviously adds to their revenue growth, upwards of 20-25%. They get an experienced partner to whom they can outsource their entire ICU, and they have a rapid response team that we support with. For patients, we've built a transparent care methodology, so they have access to hour-by-hour details as to what is happening with their patient. That's the confidence we carry either in our team and a team of doctors that we've hired. High-quality care, reduce secondary infections. There is data to prove for us that we've been able to manage this. And there is a definite price advantage, and we'll cover in the next slide. So I talked about price advantage for patients. Our ICU care per day cost happens to be 60% lower in comparison to a large private hospital. Our model is scalable. Today we are operating on three ICUs which are completely outsourced to us. And this is our growth absolutely in just last 1 year. This is asset-light model, so we can actually potentially expand in the entire geography, whether it is NCR or beyond. High-quality care, our NPS score is about 82%, and this is from feedback coming in from patients. Lastly, exclusivity, because we're the only ICU partner in a hospital, we have long-term contracts.
So when we are looking at the engagement model with our clinical entities, we basically work in 3 major divisions, which is the ICU management for a hospital, then taking care of the patient at home, as well as we have an extensive network for doctor visits, catering to more than 400 doctor visits every month in the MD physician space. Because there are a lot of companies operating for MBBS, but as we all know, visit done by an MD physician definitely holds much more caliber than an MBBS. However, even if we have an MBBS visit, that will be guided by an MD physician. And then we have a cushion provided by our lab and pharmacy support.
Very quickly, what is our progress so far? We are on course to serve 700 patients now in this particular financial year, ending in 24-25. We are growing more than 2.7x year on year. 40% or more of our patients are critical in nature that require ICU care. Similarly, our ICU vertical is barely a year old. We've already on target to serve 400 ICU patients in this financial year. And quarter on quarter, we are growing in this particular model as well. This is basically how our revenue is split. We are a bootstrap company till date. 65% of our revenue comes from home care setup and home ICU setups, and ICU already contributes to 30% of our revenue. We are short on time, but next roadmap for us is that we want to now grow to 9 ICUs, 9 to 11 rather. We see a strong growth potential. We definitely want to infuse technology as we aim to treat more than 1,100 patients in this particular financial year and grow almost 2x next year. We will be in conversations to raise about 4 crores in the next 6 months to come.
And these are our partners. Mostly all the partners that are associated with us are generally aggregators of very high repute and hospitals of very good standing in the society.
Thank you, team.
Thank you so much.
So this is more of a connected care.
True.
And what type of standards regulatory you have followed?
So we are following the standards set by the NABH. The ICU is already incapacitated by the methodologies that are advised by the DGHS and the NABH. So the hospital already has a space. Upon that, we are providing proper degree holding doctors. The major challenge that ICU facilities these days, face is getting good doctors onto their board, onto their area. Because we see a lot of Ayush physicians practicing critical care, which is not exactly the way critical care should be done. And hence, we have made sure that none of our facilities employ Ayush physicians for critical care. They can practice Ayush, but however, we want to make it into a streamlined channel so that we can provide critical care as it should be.
And for patient privacy and...
Yes, sir. So patient privacy, obviously the patient is onboarded to the hospital, and we as a providing partner, we are associated with the hospital.
No, for the data, you're taking it out of the hospital. So
No, sir. The files and all never go out of the hospital.
No, I mean, in form of, the doctor has to consult, from the app, he may be somewhere outside.
So only the doctors visiting the hospital consult the patient.
See, there is a HIPAA and all these sort of things.
Yes,
so are you...
Yes, sir. So only
aligning to that, or
yes. So only the doctor who is treating so only the treating physician is allowed to access the data. The treating physician obviously holds a consent, which is verbal or written. However, in accordance with the HIPAA Act, the data never leaves the hospital. The treating physician is the one who's in contact with the family, and we never use the data for anything else.
I think the question here is, do you have access to the data or not? Is what his question is. And are you using, because I think if you can just define the entire package of support which you provide, we understood the SOP piece, we understood the doctors being provided, who's putting in the equipment, is the hospital or it is you who's putting the equipment? What is the software which is being used, is owned by you or by the hospital, who's hosting it? And those are the questions which he's actually wanting to.
So the equipments are put by the hospital, the software is by the hospital, and the treating physician is listed with the hospital.
In ICU settings, I'm sure everybody would emphasize that you always want to, the ICU settings means that you have the best of the facility in terms of equipments and whatnot, devices. And at the same time, you always have doctor around The
Yes,
doctor
ma'am.
is not a visiting doctor, but maybe healthcare providers are there all the time. And some junior doctor is always there. That's the key mandate of ICU.
Correct. Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you able to maintain
Yes.
that
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
Or you have a visiting doctor
No,
and there's
no.
no full time?
There is a full time. So each hospital that we take over,
Okay.
there is a full time consultant, there is a full time team of RMOs who are critically trained by our AHA certified centers. They know how to do critical care procedures, and the doctor who is the treating physician is stationed in the setting.
So that setting is within the hospital or
Within
you're
the
also
hospital.
catering to the home care? So how do you manage?
We
the
have a
home care
separate
thing?
team for home care. They are two different entities.
Okay, so that home care has the entire package of the equipment plus
Yes.
the
Exactly.
doctor
Yes.
and the
And those
healthcare
equipments are by
providers.
us.
Okay.
Just a follow-up question: is it to the hospital? Is it offered as a service or is it a product?
It's a service.
What's your model of operation?
Ours is a service
It's
model.
a service model.
Correct.
So it's on the number of patients.
So every patient that gets treated,
Right.
We have a revenue share.
Right. Understood. Thanks.
How do you take care of the medical legal implications? Because there are multiple parties involved. So,
Correct.
and
Contractually, yes. Contractually, we have a cascading, let's say, liability share in this particular engagement. Ultimately, the final liability actually rests with the doctor. All the doctors are covered under indemnities of their individual indemnities. The company is covered under insurance as well. And so luck would have it that we've never had a case so far, but then we are in the eventuality of a case.
Because at 3 crore you may not see, but at 300 crore you will
Absolutely.
see enough of it.
Agreed,
right?
agreed.
We have gone through this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So
And
we
I
have
think you
taken
haven't spoken about competition, but I do see there at least 5 years back I have seen one doctor also started this from Fortis Hospital, but we don't know where they are today. So I wish that you could have actually presented competition's landscape, because there is, and
Yes.
certain aspects of your business is quite close to the home health care. Certain aspect is ICU. So I think the value proposition doesn't seem to be quite, it's robust, but it doesn't seem to be quite well positioned.
So, sir, the thing is, if I may just put in a statement over there, is that there are companies who do tele ICU, there are companies who do home ICU. There is not even a single company who does both. However, we have a transition model in which whenever there is a home ICU patient always asks, मैं कहाँ जाऊँ? मेरे को मैं आज एक बड़े कॉर्पोरेट से निकल के आया हूँ जहाँ पे I'm already depleted of my finances. Now I want to go somewhere where I can get my patient treated at a fractional cost. Now we are getting patients from many corporates and government hospitals and many other sources, but they always ask us, can you save my money somehow, giving me that quality kind of care, which is the practical problem. Because when you see bills like 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, even amounting to 1 crore sometimes, people do have this notion, can I get my patient treated in the same kind of atmosphere? And we are using the same equipment, we have the same kind of facility, and we have equipped all these ICUs with level 2 advanced facilities. Now there are multiple.
Is ICU at home covered under insurance? That's why
Yes. Yes.
Partial.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Partially, yes. Yeah.
And also you have some grading system so that the risk, what grade it is.
Yes, sir.
If they are very serious patients
Yes.
or something that
We
need
would not,
you
yes.
should not
Yes,
take.
so we have that kind of grading, sir. We have
Yes.
level 2 advanced ICUs,
Exactly.
and level 3 advanced ICUs are only applicable in centers where a cath lab is present. So because our centers are only 50 beds and below, there is not a possibility of a cath lab. Hence, we do not keep those kind of patients. And in case such a patient has to be kept in the center, it is with a valid consent of the family members. Maybe it's for an end-of-life disease, or wherein the patient does not want to go to a tertiary care center.
Thank you.
No, ma'am. So when we are keeping a patient at the home ICU, the patient will not be that critical, wherein you need a doctor to be present at this scenario. Mainly the patients are tracheostomized, or the patients are semi-critical, which can be handled through an online consult guided through. If there is a medical emergency, like say it's a new stroke, an MI, in that case, there is a medical consult done online, and the patient is immediately shifted to the nearest hospital for validated care. There will be a critical care nurse, along with online critical care monitoring by a doctor.
Can we?
Sir. Sir. Yes.
And rehab care, there is a huge network of rehab care which we have
Yes.
all over the country.
Yes.
How this model is different from that? Because even rehab centers have their own doctors in place. Because a human touch is always very important.
Yes.
When someone counsels the patient on their face and tell them about the critical condition, that's what matters to the patient at the most.
Right.
And online, like I have gone through this, online consultations, then people present there who are not taking care according to the standards which has been practiced. How is it, I have little concerns, like how is it going to offer that proper care to the patient who needs exactly in that critical state?
So, sir, this doubt can only be sorted by a demo. Maybe after this session, we can connect with you and give you a proper demo of how we work. There are standard checklist, protocols, daily rounds that have been committed. See, home ICU is a very unorganized market. There are a lot of small-time nurses, lot of vendors who just bring up certain things like equipment nurses. But if you want to organize an unorganized market, that is where our philosophy comes in place. Now, if we give you a demo of telling what is the journey of the patient, how the patient is onboarded, how my manager will go and then assign the nurse, how the nurse is evaluated, how the background check of the nurses is done, because there are a lot of nurses with fake degrees who are in the industry, how that is done, how the nurses are trained in our hostels, giving them AHA certified ACLS, BLS skills every 15 days, because we have that kind of notion wherein we want our nurses to be trained when they are going home. How my doctors will be training to analyze the emergencies over a call. How are we going to treat them? How are we going to monitor them? That all can be shown to you through a proper demo, which is of course available with us. And when we are looking at, say, neurosurgery patients, there are a lot of patients who come with head injury, post craniotomy, tracheostomized, on board with us for the last 6 months, 7 months as well. We have been taking care of them because they need long-term ICU support. But are they able to get that in the hospital? That is also a question. Our corporate hospitals, which are, the hallmarks of critical care, are they giving the best of care? Is bed sore not happening over there? Is secondary infection not happening over there? Is moving the patient to a home facility, or as you said, as a rehab facility, is it a better option? But even when you compare rehabs to home ICUs, do you think that a home ICU is better or a rehab is better? That question cannot be answered right now because there is not too much of data available on it. However, both facilities are good. Even when you take the patient to a rehab, there are a lot of rehabs in Gurgaon and Noida, now coming up in Delhi as well. You take the patient to the rehab, that's also good. You take the patient to home ICU, that's also good. Now, when you talk about the doctor, our doctors are available within 1 hour at home. Meanwhile, any emergency is tackled over the call. If it's a major emergency, we shift them to the hospital.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, for presenting the idea. We now move on to EpiRelief Healthcare Private Limited, and I invite the founder, Dr. K.V. Shivananda Reddy, to make his presentation.
A very good afternoon to all the distinguished people here. I am Dr. K.V. Shivanand Reddy. I am a senior neurosurgeon at Hyderabad. So, and I am an epileptologist. So, I had operated one 6-year-old child when I was just doing my residency at Nizam's Institute, Hyderabad, with a brain tumor. Child presented with continuous seizures. So, we operated him, removed the tumor, stabilized the child in for 3 to 4 days, then discharged the child. After 3 months, we get a call that child is unresponsive. We put the patient on continuous anti-epileptic medications, which is supposed to be kept like that. But the problem is they are from a village and they don't understand how important an anti-epileptic is for a patient post-traumatic brain injury, post-stroke, post-tumor surgery. So they missed the dose. And patient had continuous seizures, went into status epilepticus, and became unresponsive. We asked them to get it to our place. By the time they came, 6-year-old was no more. Then we thought, when we have so many things which says heart is always very important, MI, we give so much focus on cardiac care, MI, there is nothing, not even a one device which is present in the market, which is taking care of our mental health, brain health, or something like a seizure, which we think it's a symptom. It's a symptom which gives us a knowledge about so many diseases which we go through in and out. If you take stroke, 90% of patients in stroke are prone for having an epileptic attack in their life. That is how they present to a ER or to a neurophysician or a neurosurgeon. So we have come with this idea of devising a smartwatch, what we call it as EpiRelief, your seizure sentry for EpiRelief for epilepsy care. We have a WHO data which suggests there are around 50 million people worldwide. We are not talking about patients who have got only single episode of epilepsy in their life. This is the data of patients with resistant epilepsy who are on continuous anti-epileptic medications, post-stroke, post-neurosurgical procedures, post-road traffic accidents, who are on continuous therapy of anti-epileptic medications. And every year this number adds on to around 5 million people each year. And when it comes to pediatric population, this is even worse, which comes to more than 10 million people, accounting only to pediatric group of patients. So this is the global data, and what we have, like what are the solutions available? There are around 12 different kinds of epilepsy, broadly 3, and there is not a single device which is going to tell us whether you are prone for epilepsy during this period or are you going to have an attack of epilepsy. There are devices, as you take Empatica. We got this watch from US, we tested on our patients. It's a device which tells us about detecting a tonic-clonic seizure, which is very common, which everyone of us connect saying if a seizure comes, it's only these movements which happens in the body. This is not the only seizure we have. This comprises only about 10 to 12% of the seizures which patients present. There are another 85 to 90% of varieties where we call as a staring look, absent seizures. That constitutes about 30% of the patients. But there is no way we can recognize it because there is no knowledge available. There is no education for the people with regard to that particular disease. And epilepsy, you won't believe it's a social myth. It's a social stigma. A young girl comes to me and says, sir, I am getting married tomorrow. Please don't tell anyone I have epilepsy. Because they don't want to get married to a patient having something called murgi in Hindi. So there are so many issues which are going in the society, and there is only a single device called Empatica which predicts. It doesn't predict, it doesn't have a predictive ability. It just tells us once the patient has got epilepsy, it gives us an SOS alarm to the patient. So epilepsy as a disease has given us one favor having an aura phase. Every kind of epileptic attack, when it comes, there is a phase called aura, which happens between 10 to 15 minutes prior to the setting in of the epileptic attack. So we are targeting that aura. We have worked with Mayo Clinic, where we have come up with few parameters which helps us in detecting the changes which happen in the body at a very minor level, like a pulse rate sensor, blood oxygen saturation sensors, a gyroscope and an accelerometer, skin temperature sensors, and EMG sensors which are present. So this is incorporated with a traditional EEG which we took in all the patients, and we incorporated along with that. We have done studies in 1500 patients with video EEG for about 24 hours and saw the changes in their bodies which happens during this phase of aura whenever the patient is going to have this, suspected to have this attack, because any anti-epileptic we give, there is a bioavailability for it. It acts for some certain period of time. So once that bioavailability gets over, there are high risk that the patient goes into that phase of aura, or high chances that patient may have an epileptic attack. So this is how our device is having an app which is associated with it, which will be a complete directory and have a complete profile of the patient, which will be continuously accessing the changes which happens in the body. These are few charts which are made with the data of a patient of ours. We have a data of around 2,000 patients with us, active patients from Nizam's Institute who are on resistant epilepsy treatment. So this gives us not only as a treatment for epilepsy, it covers a large scale of patients with stroke, with brain tumors, with post-RTA who have undergone surgery. And this gives us a global accessibility as there is no one particular device available worldwide. We have applied for a patent which is in a pending stage. And key features is it also gives us a directory for the patient, a seizure directory which will come with it, which will have the complete information about the kind of seizure the patient is having. It will have the medication data. Whenever the patient misses a medication, it will give an alert to the patient. It will have a connect with the dear ones and along with the treating physician, which we take the doctor into confidence, so that any time a patient is not, if I may not reach my father, then you can always reach your doctor or the hospital associated with. There is a sensory system which is started that an SOS will be sent both to the patient, attender and the doctor. At the meanwhile, when the patient is, you see the lorry drivers, they are at high risk that they can't drive a lorry. So this is a technology which I wanted to showcase. Because of lack of time, I couldn't complete. And we have a large stakeholders with regard to epilepsy, like patient givers. Pharma company, if you take Sun Pharma, has 12% of its market share in epileptic drugs. And Intas Pharma and Reddy Laboratories, which you take, they have been associated with us in these studies. So we are actually in a validation stage. We have a prototype developed. We are testing them on around 5 to 6 patients at present and securing the data. And we are looking to go to market in future. Once the clinical trials ends over, we are in TRL 5 level at present. And this is my team. I am Dr. Shivanand, my co-founder Ms. Sneha. We have our CTO Nuna Krupala. She is from BITS Pilani and tech platforms consultant. And Mr. Abkari Vijay Prakash, he is our CFO. And we have distinguished doctors all over the country from JIPMER, AIMS, New Delhi, Sri Chitra Tirunal Trivandrum, and multiple AIMS centers which we are associated. So totally 50 doctors from even Amruta Faridabad are associated with us on this journey of EpiRelief. Thank you.
So doctor, this is a very interesting and very good one, but where is your real IP? Is it in the software, the whole system what you have done, or is it the device?
Sir, our IP, I will tell you, sir, there was a study done at Mayo. They could do it only on 5 to 6 patients. Why? Because the patient acquisition cost in US or other countries is very high. When you compare to epileptic patients, getting access to the epileptic patients and their coming back to us is also very, very difficult. Our whole things, our main IP is where we have access to the patients. We have a whole lot of patients. Such studies work only when you have a large clinical data. If you do it in more the number of patients, you get different varieties of epileptic to be tested, different types of epilepsies to be tested. So our data is such huge that we have around 10,000 active patients of epilepsy with us. Once we have the device with us, we can test on all of them. And we can cover in variety of disorders which can be taken into consideration. And even the technology which we have developed, we have sent it for patent, which is already pending. And EMG sensoring is one thing which has never been done before. Yes, there are sensors to detect SpO2, temperature and all, but EMG sensing, which we have come up with T-Hub, we work with T-Hub in Hyderabad. So we are incubated there. So we are with T-Works and T-Hub, we have been working on doing this sensors development in that.
Because the sensor development and all that is very, very rampantly growing.
Yes,
And commercial watches,
yes,
the commercial smart watch, they come with a lot of features,
yes,
including continuous glucose monitoring.
Yes,
they're already
yes,
commercially available.
Yes.
So the energy, if you put it in the other end, it is better, and use a standard platform, so that cost will come down.
Yes,
because
sir.
Ultimately it is the cost.
It is the
so
cost.
if you are making your own device, I'm
Yeah.
sure your cost will be very high.
Yes, sir. That is the whole challenge, sir,
Yes.
cost of getting the device into.
So I think my question was stemming from there. I mean, why are you not partnering with a tech partner, and why are you trying to do the whole technology on your own?
So we are a partner. I told, we are incubated with T-Hub. We have our own tech team which is working at T-Works and working on these sensors which are already available. Few of them are already available. EMG sensor is the one which we had made on our own, taking into consideration the other factors, how we are with the proper EMG, how we do it in the hospital, taking into consideration those parameters, we have made few sensors how the skin resistance and the changes in the muscle twitchings, which happens at a very delicate level, can be assessed. So that is one sensor which we have worked, and others are definitely available to us in the market. But the whole problem is the sensitivity is the one which matters very much. The sensitivity of these sensors, like if change in one if heart rate changes from 70 to 72, is it able to detect it? Or there is a range of detection of heart rate, or the continuous monitoring of it, which is very important. So that is what we are mainly working on, the sensitivity of the sensors, how we can make it more better.
The patent which you filed is for the sensors, or is it beyond the sensors?
The whole concept, idea, and the device.
Okay, including the device?
Yes.
You're not really measuring EEG with
Sorry,
these,
sir?
right? You're not measuring the electrical activity of the brain with this.
No,
right?
no, we can't.
So these markers that you have chosen, do they overlap with any other disorders? In other sense, how specific is this?
No, usually there are, actually when we speak about it, there are totally 12 markers which were available in the study which was done. But these are the most prominent markers which are associated with changes which happen during that aura phase. So there are 12 markers with epilepsy, but these are the most prominent markers which have other changes in the body which happens during the aura
Are
phase.
these known to change with anything else?
Like temperature can always happen with regard to fever or anything, but the other sensors, like, so that's what I said, sir. It is not only for epilepsy. It can give us a holistic approach with other diseases which we have not gone into a vertical as of now.
That creates problem for you, right? I mean, you first and foremost have to be very specific for the disease that you are targeting.
Yes.
Right? I think your video EEG analysis you were saying, right? You're correlating.
Yes.
That will be helpful. You showed name of competitors, right?
Yes.
There's one company which I didn't see, Moksha, which were making video EEGs. Right? You should. Right? I didn't see their name, so.
No, we video EEG. What we did was we had to have a module where what changes happen in the patient during that aura phase, which we took into picture. Video EEG has nothing to do with this device because we need something to be compared with. Like these changes, when we go with a traditional model, we need a traditional EEG and a video EEG when a seizure attack actually happens in the patient, what actually changes in the body. So that was taken as a model, as a basis for what we need this device to be compared with.
I think one of the things, if I remember correctly from Moksha's presentation, that majority of these seizures happen during night.
Yes.
While you're asleep.
Yes.
People end up missing.
Yes.
Your device may be helpful there.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. I couldn't complete the presentation. So.
I wanted to check with you just a small query that you have generated data to establish proof of concept. The initial patient data you might have used would have been used to establish the proof of concept that this works.
Yes.
But now when you are planning to do a proper clinical evaluation for this product, have you, what is the regulatory strategy you're following? Have you applied for test license? Are you aware of the regulatory strategy?
Yeah, we have applied for test license, madam. We are still in that way of procuring all the licenses. Okay. So we are at a very initial stage because once we need a lot of, like it's been completely bootstrapped as of now. So going ahead, we need some funding to be associated with it because tech devices are very costly to be made. So we are actually in that process of regulatory compliances and everything. So that's the thing.
Fine. I think you will have to, as sir mentioned, you will have to maybe make it more specific. Yeah. The problem statement has to be defined very clearly. Yeah. If you are trying to position it for epilepsy, then apply all your energy to validate it for epilepsy. And the marker should be very specific for the epilepsy.
No, these are the very specific markers for epilepsy itself. But the point is, epilepsy is not a disease as such, what most of the people understand. It is associated with a symptom. It is one of the symptoms for many diseases. If you take stroke, epilepsy is one of the most common symptoms. So that's how it helps us going into a various channels and support different variety of patients. So if I say I am only doing for epilepsy, people say, okay, the number of epilepsy is less, it is not a huge market. But when you see it with regard to expanding it globally, it has a huge market because we are helping a stroke patient. Like stroke, you say it is the newer epidemic. We are having the maximum number of stroke post-COVID now. When I see at least 5 to 6 patients every day in a year comes up with a stroke, and that too in young. Stroke in young has increased. There is an association with COVID vaccine.
It's a thinking point for you, because the intended use statement will vary.
Yeah.
With the test license which you have applied might be speaking about the intended use statement.
Yes.
That has to be very specifically defined. If you have something general in mind and you're writing specific for epilepsy, then even later on when you do a study, those results won't be acceptable with the CDSCO. So this is the point wherein you should get that clarity in mind, and then if you have 2-3 options in mind, then apply for 2-3 licenses, and those all 3 products can be part of your portfolio rather than just focusing on one product.
Sure.
So maybe in future when you talk to investors, you should be very clear on your strategy, product development strategy. Likewise, that's the base for when you move forward.
And
Plus,
particularly device,
Yes.
please don't spend money on device. I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
Yes, sir.
there are companies, Samsung, maybe Apple, there are so many of them who will be prepared to partner
Yes.
because for them this is a good application.
Yes,
So that type of arrangement will make you.
yeah, from an investment point of view, an asset-light model always is greatly accepted. And definitely when there are so many comps in the market who are doing the exact same wearable watch thing, integrating your software to actually target one particular disease or maybe 2 diseases, like ma'am said, would actually be greatly beneficial. So,
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy, for presenting your idea in this pitching session. We have with us Ms. Madhu Mishra, founder and MD, and Mr. Rakesh Pathak, the founder and CEO from Kasipco Healthcare Private Limited, to make their pitch, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Madhu Mishra. I'm founder and MD of Kasipco Healthcare Private Limited, and I have approximately 8 years of experience in healthcare.
Right. I'm Rakesh. So, because we have a very short time, so just wanted to get into the point. I believe everyone who is sitting here, healthcare is a priority for them, right? And if it is a priority for everyone, it is a priority of nation. If it is a priority of nation, it is a global priority, right? And considering the demography of India, we know that it's very much difficult for everyone to cater each and every area of India and provide the comprehensive healthcare solution. So we are Kasipco Healthcare Private Limited, and we are providing our aggregated healthcare solutions to the corporates. And right now, we are already serving more than 20 plus corporates. Some are US based MNCs, some are Japanese, Korean and Indian MNCs also.
So everyone, as Rakesh said, that healthcare is basically a need for everyone. But still, there are many problems which people are facing nowadays, right? If it is about their health, so healthcare is not that much accessible or affordable for everyone. In fact, sometimes what happens, people don't exactly know about the health issues which they are facing. Like suppose if someone is having thyroid, but they don't know the exact symptom of thyroid, right? So everyone, as we said, that there are many problems which people are facing. So here we are, Kasipco Healthcare, to providing a comprehensive healthcare solution to everyone, to each and everyone. And currently we are working with corporates, as Rakesh already mentioned, and our vision is to become messenger of sound health and provide healthcare services in pan-India.
So coming to the solutions very quickly, we have a pan-India healthcare ecosystem, through which we provide healthcare solutions not only to the employees who are working in a metro cities, but also to their dependent who may be residing at the remotest part of India, right? considering we are into B2B, so we are providing the tailored corporate healthcare solutions. Means like suppose if some of our corporate are into the manufacturing, unit, so we need to tailor our healthcare solution according to the working environment of the employees, so that they can get more benefit, right? Another part is we are also promoting the ancient, Indian healing techniques, which helps an individual to, move into the disorder-related disease. Like, right now, if you do a study, India is not, it is moving towards the disorder-related disease. Like, we are having a diabetes, we are moving towards the thyroid and these kind of disorder-related things, which is very much difficult to cure. And the only thing to prevent it to go through the ancient Indian healing techniques, right? And moving to the next, we also have a technology integration system which will directly integrate with the corporate parts, so that all their employees can avail our healthcare solutions anywhere from India, and they can also provide these kind of solution to their family members also, right? I'm sorry, yeah. Yeah, so some of our unique value proposition is we provide the price discovery solution to the corporates. For example, as I told that we are aggregated healthcare service providers, so we aggregate with so many multiple vendors, and when we provide the previously we have heard that there are so many founders present here, so they also providing so many services, like some are into the emergency, some are into the providing the ambulance, and so many. So we gather them, and we put it into our application, and we provide them the price discovery solution. Like, look, if you want to do a thyroid check, so from this XYZ vendor, this is the cost. From this XYZ vendor, this is going to be the cost, right? And our revenue stream, like how we are earning the revenue. So we have a subscription model. We have a revenue sharing model from our vendors. We also do corporate bookings, home care services, on-site health camps, ambulance services for B2B. Right, and this is the very small brief discussion about the market overview. Right now, like if we talk about the market valuation of the healthcare, it is 180 billion, and it is expected to grow to 320 billions, which is a approx 12 CAGR. Right, coming to some of the key drivers of the industry, that why we believe that we have a scope, and despite of having so many competitors, we can earn from here, and we can fulfill both our motives: first earning, second serving the all the employees and corporates who are our clients, right? So one is raising middle class income level, population growth, and technology advancement, right? Everyone nowadays we are more close to technology. If you want to do anything, we just want to open an app, whether it's related to food or health checkup. So we also do the technology advancement, so that anywhere you are sitting in India, you can do the checkups. There are also increasing globalization. So when I say increasing globalization, means the companies are nowadays, it is coming to India. So when we are having multiple corporates, the requirement of healthcare for their employees, for their dependents, are going to increase, right? So these are some of the target market. So I'm going to skip it. This is some of the go-to-market strategy, right? We wanted to do it through the digital social media marketing, B2B exhibitions, strategic partnership with promotions, and government programs also, right? Some of our competitors analysis, which is in present of you. So, if I'll have any questions, so we'll be happy to answer on that. This is our, financial summary. And right now, like we have established in the year of 23, and in the financial year of 23-24, we have able to make the revenue of 40 lakhs approx. And in the very short span of time only, we are already providing, our healthcare solutions to multiple corporates, right? So this is our ask, and the users is in front of you. Right, this is our team. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I have one question. In what way is this different from a hospital management system?
Yeah,
because all these modules are there in HMS. Of course, this might be a little more cloud enabled and all that. Have you made the implementation?
Yeah, so it is definitely different. So why I'm telling you difference is, see, if we talk about hospitals, so the main motive of hospital is to, get the business inside of their hospital premises, and they are doing very less, they are very much, less worry about that if anyone is residing, or like, for example, I'm working in MNC, I'm, staying in Delhi. But hospital is only about worry about me, because if I'm staying near to Apollo or XYZ hospital, so I can go and cater the services. But for my family members, like my father is a government employee, he's staying in the West Bengal, remote area of West Bengal. So if I want to book some checkup, it is going to be a very difficult situation for her. Or maybe I need someone who can take her to the diagnostic center and do, right? So what we do, we provide a comprehensive healthcare solution, not only for employees, for their dependent also. So if you want to require any kind of healthcare solutions, whether it's a pathology related test, X-ray, home care solutions, emergency solutions, we have a team who is looking into emergency services also. Like for example, if you need if you need some emergency ambulance requirement, so you can get it through us, and our response time is less than a minute, right? Second, we also provide the blood related requirements, because while we were serving to the corporates, we have also gone through these things that when people are getting admitted to the hospital, they are fighting very much to get the blood, which is a very much basic necessity of everyone. So what we do, when we tie up with any corporate, so we provide them these kind of comprehensive solution, and we assure them ki, look, whatever requirement you need to go through that to get the bottle of a blood, you will definitely do it, but first we'll ensure that you get the blood. That is the benefit why
more of an aggregator, health service aggregator.
Yes. Right. I have already said, yeah.
I see it very generic, because every third startup is trying to do this healthcare aggregation, and at least we see 2 of them every day doing something like this, right? And you mentioned in the beginning that you have 20 plus corporates, right? Give me 3 names of the corporates which are...
So we have a Honda Power, we have Volvo Eicher, we have Mendo Softech, which is a Korean company, we have a Toto, which is again a Japanese company, and list is very long.
Like, so who's your longest serving client today?
Honda we are serving, I mean everyone is the longest serving
Agreed.
client.
You started with Volvo, Honda like 2 years back, 1 year back. When did you?
So actually see, my last company was BlackRock. I was working in BlackRock. So while
That's a fund management, right?
Yeah, it's a wealth management company, yeah. So when I was working in BlackRock, I have, at the back end started these kind of things, I mean services, and started to get relationships with the corporates and all. So when I got the confidence, I quit my job in the year of 2023. Okay, so like Honda, I have association from more than last 2 years, but like, we have...
What was the billing last month from Honda?
It's actually, as I told you that we are a, comprehensive healthcare solutions. So from
That's exactly what I'm saying. If you're a comprehensive, then your billing from each client, as the longest serving client, should go up at least 10 to 15% month on month, right? The employee base is only increasing for corporates, it's not decreasing.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand the phenomena, and if you can, and you made a very important statement, because we have invested in 2 ambulance startups. One is called TenMed, the other is called Merry Health, and they are not able to provide ambulance in less than 1 minute. And you said you're able to provide ambulance in 1 minute. Is amazing. Like, how are you able to crack this?
Yeah, I'm answering both of your question. First question is like, the corporate, like what is the longest serving corporate? So from Honda Power, we are getting a business of annual health checkups. From Volvo, we are getting a business of pre-employment, and we have tried this time to provide them the annual health checkups of their 10,000 employees, which will make a revenue of 4+ CR from one corporate only, right? So it is getting increased, if I'm able to answer your question. From Honda...
Maybe we'll take it offline.
Yeah, sure. We are happy.
My only thing is right now, how are you solving this problem of providing
ambulance, right? So yeah, so like we are aggregator, we don't have any own ambulance and all, right? So there, yeah, no, I'm telling you I'm giving you the answer of that. So what our team does, they do a very, deep research in the market. So there is a, service provider company, which is a Red Health Ambulance. So yes, right. So we had a partnership with them, right? And it's my personal, the personal experience which I've gone through. It was 3 a.m. in the night. I got a call that someone getting a heart attack related situation, like a pain at the left side and something all. So I respond.
Understood.
You understood, but they have responded at the 30 seconds.
That they will deliver the ambulance in less than 7 minutes.
Right.
How are you claiming
Yeah, that is what I'm telling you. How many of you here? Yeah, but just wanted a single question, sir. How many of you have heard about Red Ambulance here? Raise.
I've seen their journey from one ambulance.
I mean, you. Yeah. So, but still, I do not see more hands, more than 2 or 3 hands, right? But if we go to corporate, which having a 500 of employees or 10,000 of employees, right? So if we onboard any corporate, because there is an onboarding process, right? So we introduce them all our services. So if we onboard any corporate, all their employees would be able to know about our services, and everyone will, yeah. Sure. No problem. No problem. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for your presentation. We now move on to Group 2, TRL level 7 and above. To make the first presentation in the group, we have with us Ms. Swati Padalia, the founder of DoseTap, to present her idea.
It's group 2 if somebody's. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Swati, and I'm the founder of DoseTap. We are into medication adherence technology, and we have developed a smart pill box, which is mainly helping the medication management make better. So we are operating out of Bangalore and Delhi, and yeah. So we are a team of around 6 people now. So I previously worked in healthcare marketing for over 10 years in India and Europe, where I worked in different kind of therapy areas like cardiometabolics and neuropsychiatry. We are also associated with the NASCOM Center of Excellence for IoT products and got funded under the METI Samrid 2022, also associated with the Step Up Ventures. So basically what we are trying to resolve is the issue of medication compliance in chronic illness. So as you know, as per World Health Organization, more than 50% of patients forget to take their medications on time. And it's a very sad situation, but in every household there is, parents or grandparents who have to take medications for a long time. And it's a very behavioral problem that they simply forget to take their medications on time. Now what it leads to is patients not getting well because it leads to increased complications. It leads to drug resistance in certain cases like tuberculosis, right? And you have to restart the drug therapy with a newer set of medications. And ultimately it leads to patient deaths in certain scenarios. So what we have done is we have made the household medication box a bit smarter. So we did not want to change the prescription taking habit of patients. And what we did is that we have developed this pill box on which we have received a patent. Apologies for the error there. So it organizes your medications as per time of the day. And this is a Bluetooth connected device, but we can modify the communication to cellular, GSM or Wi-Fi based. So how it works is that you have to keep your medications inside the device. I'll just show this to you quickly. So this is how it looks like. It's a 9 by 9 inches device. And inside you have space to keep your medications for the whole week. So either you can segregate them for the 7 days, or the pill trays are detachable and you can keep the entire pill strip also. Or if you have small bottles or pouches, that can also be stored inside. So this gets Bluetooth connected to our mobile app, and there is a one-time setup that you have to do from our mobile app, which any family member can do as well, in terms of what medication you have to take and at what time of the day. After that, a phone is not required, and the device has a memory of its own, and it keeps on giving you alerts at the set dose time. So what happens is, suppose at morning, your morning indicator light goes up, telling the patient from which compartment to take the medication, and an alarm goes on. So these alerts go on for 30 minutes from the set dose time. So within 30 minutes, if the patient consumes the medication, that is considered as taken. But what we have done is we have a sensor at each compartment level. So if the patient does not take the medicine within a 30-minute window, we inform the family member or the caregiver that medication has been missed. So this is a remote monitoring kind of element that we have provided in the device. So the patients and their family members can remotely schedule as well as track the usage of the medications. So what we also do is that for healthcare organizations, we collect data from the devices, and for companies like pharmaceutical companies can see aggregated, anonymized data of what medications the patient group is on and what is the patient journey like. So for example, nobody is really tracking the actual drug consumption level in India. So they can see like what brands the patients are consuming and what is the adherence rates. Similarly, the doctors can see the data of the patients who are linked to them. We do provide open API integration, so they can see the list of patients who are associated with them, what medications the patients are on, and what is the compliance rate. So we are currently selling the device on e-commerce channels like Amazon, Flipkart, Tata 1mg, etc. But primarily what we want to do is work with pharmaceutical organizations to scale it up, because therapy compliance is a big issue there, and the patient dropout rate is as high as 60% after 3 months of therapy, which I commonly observed when I was working with Novartis in the cardiometabolic segment. So we are currently working with Lupin and Forbes Care, and just recently closed Mankind also. Plus, as I mentioned, that we are also selling it online on Amazon and Flipkart, where we are getting good response. So mainly the patient population who are buying are the caregivers or the family members who buy it for their parents or grandparents. So we are currently trying to reach out to 1.5 million patients from the current device version out of the patient population of 258 million patients. So the current investment ask is around 20 lakhs for the smaller device that we are making. We did receive a seed funding of 80 lakhs previously, which has gone into, and still there, into development and production of the earlier version. So, but what we have observed, and based on our market research findings plus the feedback that we got from healthcare organizations, is that they need something which is smaller, because in India, sadly, the onset of chronic diseases is happening at a very early age. You have people in 30s and 40s who are having cardiovascular, hypertensive, thyroid problems. So we want something which is as big as your phone and can fit easily in your pocket. Plus, we also want to target the contraceptive category for women post-menopausal as well as post-pregnancy group. So thank you so much. This was my final slide.
Thanks, Swati. A couple of questions. A, you filed the patent for what? For the box?
For the design, yeah.
For the box?
Yeah, for the
industrial design, right? And didn't find anything on the competitors in your space, because there are quite a few products which are available, right?
So there are 2 or 3 startups which are coming up. I mean, we were
No,
the
not
first to
startups,
launch.
they're established companies. It's already been used in the public sector, public health space as well, these devices.
I understand. I think that's a very different design, what you mentioned. For tuberculosis,
Yeah, so the start was TB. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how this design has actually evolved, right? Of different methods of adherence, right? So where do you see yourself in the competition, and where do you see your percentage of market? I mean, this product is not going to be working in the public health space.
Right.
So I'm looking at it's more of a B2C connect which you are looking at, right? So what's your target overall? You showed some numbers, but out of the entire market, you're not going to get 100% of the market. What is the market size which you are looking at?
So
With your competitors already being there, well established.
Right. So how we are trying to position ourselves is as a therapy-specific solution at a patient level. So what I mean is, for example, the current devices that you have in tuberculosis, for example, they only cater to the tuberculosis medications. But what you see patients are on also concomitant medications because of other illnesses they are suffering with. So how we want to position ourselves is as a device which can be used at a patient level for all the conditions that the patient is associated with it. If you look at the patients, we have around 2,000 patients who are using our device currently, and our average patient is using close to 25 medications. So that because people who have hypertension also develop, other illnesses. So that's how where we want to sort of position ourselves, to answer your question.
Numbers is what I was asking.
Yeah.
What is the number which you are looking at?
So close to 2,000 patients we have currently, but we want to target 1.5 million patients, so 15 lakh patients in around 4 years of time frame, which is honestly a very small number if you look at
Okay,
the...
so is there a revenue model then? That's my question. I can leave it, on that.
No, sure. So there are 2 things. One is, of course, going direct to consumer, where, the pull is coming from the family members of the patients. But what we want to do, the scale will come from the B2B2C segment. So that is, sort of partnering with pharmaceutical companies to scale it in therapies areas. We have already done few pilots with pharma companies, and to scale up, yeah, definitely we are having certain cost-related issues, and we are reworking on the pricing of our devices, so bringing sort of the cost down, and that is one of the reasons to make the device a bit smaller, where it also fits into the therapy, but also brings the price down. Yeah.
So one of the conditions is in the cardiometabolic is diabetes, insulin-dependent diabetes. You can't keep your insulin inside this box. How will you remind them? Because insulin-dependent diabetes is such a huge problem in India.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's a limitation, because currently we are targeting oral solids market. So people who are on tablets, capsules, or mainly powder formulations, that is something. So we are ideating around, because there's a requirement of refrigeration around injectables. So that is something which we are definitely looking at because it's a very big market. But currently, as you correctly mentioned, our design does not cater to that segment.
Okay, can you think of a software-only type of system? Why
Sir-
do you need the device?
Yes, sir. So
If
there
you can
are.
take out the dependency, then you can make it much more cost-effective, cheaper, and the software can do. You can have AI alerts. Everything can be given on the mobile, right?
Yes,
On the
sir.
app
So
itself.
when we started with a software-only application, but there are a lot of freely available medication reminder apps. But what you so they are, but what people do is they just put it on snooze and forget about it again. It's a very common behavioral problem. You look at alarms, right? So that's, and especially the geriatric population, we feel, who has the highest use of it, need something physical where they can see, okay, this is where my medications are kept and this is how I have to take it. And plus the remote monitoring element. So we did think about a lot of holistic solution that has to go into development, and that was the reason we moved away from it, because just a reminder app on your phone doesn't really solve the problem.
One quick question from my side, Varun, from Niti Aayog. I am leading public health as well as digital health and artificial intelligence in healthcare. So when we are talking about software in healthcare setup or any kind of software, is there any need to register on the application using Aadhaar number or OTP based login? If so, are you capturing the patient data? If so, why you are how you are ensuring the data protection and privacy policy? Because it is very critical for certain parameters. When we talk about the social stigma like tuberculosis, HIV, and such kind of medication we are providing. So how you are ensuring data protection and privacy policy for those kind of medication? Because you are capturing the patient data, you are capturing their telephone number. You have reminder system where you call the patient relative or patient. So how you are ensuring the data protection and privacy policy in such application?
Sure.
Thank you.
So first thing is that we do capture consent when patients sign up on a platform, but every registration is OTP dependent. So anything that the patient, their mobile number gets registered, that's how we sort of send them an OTP and then they can get registered. Currently we don't have HIPAA certification, but we are working towards it. Our entire data right now is encrypted on AWS, which is the cloud platform that we are using. But yeah, I mean, HIPAA compliance is something that we are definitely working towards, because even on partnering with pharma companies, this is one of the requirements which has been coming up. So we are addressing that.
Okay. And any kind of regulatory hurdle you are looking after or you are facing nowadays in rolling out this kind of solution, or to scale up this kind of solution? Any kind of regulatory hurdle or any kind of market access hurdle you are facing?
Regulatory, no, because it's a consumer electronics, so we don't fall under the medical device category, but we have applied for CE certification and WPC with the TUV Rhineland organization. Market access, yes, because partnering with healthcare organizations, I mean, I think the biggest challenge for us is how to get there quickly. So that is a request, I mean, to everybody in the audience. We are seeking out collaboration with hospitals, doctors, and in the public health space where we are trying to fit in. We did discuss with PATH some time back as well. So that's where we are sort of looking for connections. So it would be very helpful for us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati, for sharing your initiative. And ladies and gentlemen, we are running short of time, so please not more than 2-3 questions per person. I will now invite Akash Kulgor, the CEO, and Minal Dakhave, the lead medical affairs of Dognosis, to make their presentation, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Akash, co-founder and CEO of Dognosis, and my colleague, Dr. Meenal, who leads medical affairs, will be presenting about what we do. And I know we're close to lunch, so I promise to be snappy. At Dognosis, we're building the world's best olfaction AI that can understand smells, and we're doing this to solve for disease screening at scale. Our first mission is to solve for cancer, specifically that too much cancer is detected too late. It drops you from the high greens to the low reds in treatment odds. In India, this is 80% of people. That leads to over 1 million deaths. Everyone in this room already probably knows this. And for many, it's not just a statistic. You know someone close to you who has lost their life, even though it could have been saved. The only solution is to screen for people at a population level, but cancer screening currently is broken. It's too expensive, it's uncomfortable and invasive. Even if you solve for these first two, it happens for each organ and needs to happen ever so often. Hence, less than 1% of Indians, according to EY's 22 report, are screened in their lifetime. We think the solution has been lying right under our noses. Every disease has a unique scent formed from a cocktail of volatile organic compounds, VOCs, that stand for the volatilome. And with a sophisticated enough sensor and enough computation, this scent can be consistently identified. And what we now know from 20 plus years of double-blind peer-reviewed journals, over 50 of these studies published in journals like The Lancet, Nature, and the BMJ, is that dogs, the same dogs that can detect bombs and diseases and continue to be relied by militaries and airports around the world, can also detect diseases, including cancer with specificity and sensitivity above 90%. And what we're doing at Dognosis is combining this best VOC sensor on the planet with machine learning models trained on their brain data, collected through non-invasive BCIs. And this leads to an accurate, affordable, and accessible breath-based screening. And what this looks like in practice is this. This is in a lab in Bangalore. This is Snow, our chief canine scientist, and she's smelling a face mask that people have worn for 10 minutes. One of those masks in one of the 8 ports is from someone who has been diagnosed with cancer and confirmed with a biopsy. As Snow does what she does best, you'll see her do it right there, where she indicates that port as being the mask that was worn by someone with cancer. We're recording her brain activity using vision models as well as other kinds of sensors to essentially combine the best of both, bio as well as AI, to deliver a simple, cost-effective screening test. And it's so simple, we're calling it Breathe Easy. So despite the technology being frontier and a lot of different moving parts, the product itself is super simple. People breathe into a mask for 10 minutes, they seal it in a bag, ship it to us. We're currently getting samples from 6 clinical sites across Karnataka, including in Hubli, a Tier 2 city 500 kilometers away. It doesn't require cold storage or any expensive logistics. The sample comes to us, a team of dogs plus AI evaluates the sample. We provide a digital health risk assessment. With a single center with 20 dogs that we've just newly constructed and are about to move in, we can screen over 10 lakh patients every year. So it's extremely scalable despite perhaps an intuition that dogs don't scale. And this is done at a cost of just 200 rupees. To us, it can be even lower because ultimately the marginal cost per test is a single face mask and 1 second of dog time. And thankfully, our dogs don't charge us too high. And we expect to save over 500 CR in expected savings from early treatment, and more importantly, 2,000 lives. This would all be well and good if we didn't have data, but we do. In June, we ran an internal blinded trial with 1,000 samples. Our dogs achieved a 98% accuracy, so that was a 96% sensitivity and a 99% specificity, detecting 10 types of cancers, again from breath collected in a face mask, and this was just after 10 weeks of training.
So along with this new technology, it should be integrated with the right features to make it commercial and go to the hospitals and clinic level. So Breath Easy Test offers these innovative all AIs like accuracy, actionability, accessibility, and affordability. And as you know, every doctor, every patient, healthcare provider will expect these basic features and offerings from any innovative tool and any diagnostic tools. So as per our data, which is really a pilot study, and we are aiming to add up more data in it. However, with the pilot study, we got greater than 90% of sensitivity and specificity. Now, as the sample type is non-invasive and very easy to collect as a breath, so there is affordability throughout the test with just 200 rupees. But along with that, it is a scalable, also accessible and easy to collect. So that features we are aiming to offer as a complete end-to-end test. Now, the very important is with the new technology, we are very cautious with the quality standards and going to a right regulatory pathways. So in a clinical roadmap, currently we have done the case control studies and we are aiming to complete 5,000 numbers in a short while. With the preliminary data, we are very confident that there is a precision, accuracy over the data points we got under the performance characteristics. And here we are following the ethical committee's approval with respective centers and the following of good clinical practices. Now, we are doing the clinical trials with established hospitals like the St. John Hospital, Narayana Healthcare Hospital, Karnataka Institute of Medical Sciences at the Bangalore sites, and we are aiming to increase the clinical partners throughout the India as a short-term goal and to the US as a long-term goal. Now we are planning to move to the prospective studies where we are aiming for the at least 1 lakh of the patients to enroll and to see the real world scenario, and where we definitely seek the guidance from the experts to carry out the right protocols and follow-ups of the positive and negative patients as well. So in short, with the proof of concept established and moving towards the commercialization and the regulatory pathways, if you see the key parameters of cost, easiness, and the sensitivity specificity, diagnosis would definitely stand out in a short while. There are liquid biopsies currently which are in place to identify and confirm the cancer patients, but the cost, if you see, is really very high. Now we are not aiming to complement this test, but this would be a screening test so that only the shortlisted patients or characters would be finalized and confirmed by the liquid biopsies. So in a way, the awareness would be higher. More patients can screen up in a very early stage. So we are aiming to develop this test as an early detection, and then only the positive patients would be confirmed by the liquid biopsies. So covering the cost would as a critical parameter. So here for just one line before going to our team members. So for regulatory pathways, currently we are aiming to have a ISO compliance of 17025, and we are on it. Now for all clinical trials, we have already registered this under the CTRI, and as the animals are medium for testing purpose, we have also registered for the CCSEA and in process of the ethical committee's approvals more or less. So these are our team members. I'm Dr. Meenal, having the 15 years of experience in the diagnostics, and I was the lady behind delivering COVID-19 RT-PCR test during pandemic at my lab. So with my expertise on the diagnostic field and the regulatory affairs, I'm very keen and excited to work with the diagnosis for these innovative approaches and make this multi-screening test to the market.
Just to quickly close, I'm Akash. I studied cognitive science at UC Berkeley. I've been doing this for the past 3.5 years full time. My amazing co-founder Itamar worked professionally with canine olfaction in the Israeli Special Forces, as well as another startup doing bomb detection as well as Parkinson detection, again from Breath. And we have an amazing team of 15 other computational neuroscientists, hardware engineers, as well as clinical research ops, as well as a great set of PIs, including Dr. Sanjeev Kulgod and PIs in other sites, as Meenal mentioned, such as Narayan Health. And just ending with a close that we're really looking for partners to do the world's largest multi-cancer study, and would love to connect with anyone who can offer any assistance. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a very interesting concept. How are you going to test the dogs after it has done this detection? Because continuously, if the dog is doing this, there may be chances that the dog may get cancer.
So the face mask that the samples are collected in, they're just inert volatile organic compounds. So there's nothing carcinogenic about them. They're the byproducts of metabolism of tumor cells in the body. We have the highest standards of welfare for our dogs. I wouldn't be doing this personally if I didn't love dogs. And in fact, one downstream effect of this is 2 of our dogs are adopted from shelters in Bangalore. And we see this as a sustainable funding model going forward, where dogs don't just have to be pets or pests, they can also be partners in health and understanding.
That is fine, but on record, they would like to see, so have you registered this also in some veterinary hospital so that the trial is you do the trial for that also. That's very
Yes,
important.
we actually have established an animal ethics
Otherwise,
committee
PETA will
comprised
come
of
and, yeah.
comprised of veterinarians as well as medical affairs, and we're going to be registering with the National Center for the Control and Supervision of Experiments on Animals. And this has been done for the past 20 years by labs across the world. Again, the volatiles in breath, cancer is not contagious to other humans, it's also not contagious to dogs.
But definitely under risk assessment, we have considered this point, and the ongoing observation and monitoring of the dogs would be the right pathway ahead.
And how early stage can you detect this?
So in our current data, because of the problem we're tackling, we have about 20% early stage cancers. We're working with partners in metro cities who have a larger share of early cases. So when we execute the trial, it'll be about 40% early stage. From the literature, dogs can detect even preclinical and pre-imaging because they're sophisticated. They're detecting in parts per trillion, sorry. So they're able to pick up even the earliest onset of cancer.
All type of cancers.
Is there any particular breed of dog that you are focusing, or is it like agnostic?
Yeah, it's a question we get a lot. So I think the best answer would be just like humans, dogs have their own personalities, and more than breeds, it's some personalities of dogs tend to be better for this kind of work than others.
How do you shortlist that? What is your like?
So my co-founder, who has the canine olfaction expertise, we've actually devised a recruitment process for dogs. We wish there was a LinkedIn for dogs, but it doesn't currently exist. And we have like a established 1 hour testing as well as an internship period that onboards the dogs to our team.
Thanks, Akash. I think this is very interesting. I had only one question. Are you looking at the sample collection in any other form than the masks?
Yeah, so people in the literature have done urine, sweat, as well as blood. We think breath works the best, especially in the global south.
I'm saying is capturing breath in some other form rather than only the mask.
That's a great question, and we'd love to hear from folks if they have better ways to do it. We adopted it because we know it works, and it's very easy to implement.
And just one last question on the detection limits. Any particular types of cancer that this practice targets, or like?
So we have 20 types of cancer in our database currently. We will likely focus on the top 3 in males and top 3 in females, but it's more of a positioning in terms of product market fit and how to go about clinically validating. We've seen the dogs can detect all 20 types. And in fact, the advantage of canine olfaction and biological intelligence is that they can generalize outside a training split, where the dogs, for the first time when they saw brain cancer, they picked it up, even though they had never seen it before, because they generalized the scent signature of cancer.
I think it was sort of touched upon in the before also, but I will just mention. There will be an issue of dog-to-dog variation also, right? And the same dog over time.
Yeah.
As opposed to a chemical test where once everything's sanitized, you have one number which is fixed.
Yeah.
Right, so how would you take?
No, it's a great point, and it's one of the main reasons to develop the technology that we are developing. So we have 5 dogs sniff each sample, and each of the dogs' digital twin that aggregates their responses, brain response as well as body response, over thousands of samples across days, leads to a foundational dog OS model that then is doing the inference. So a single dog can be swapped in and out. The model can tell what the dog's past responses have been, what their current response is, and hence standardize and control that variance which otherwise would have existed. So it's a big reason for us to work on the machine learning model to actually standardize and control that innate animal variation.
So during our clinical validation also, we are generating a data for the precision. So repeatability and reproducibility would take care of it. And then we have a better data points to show you as accuracy of the dogs to dogs variations.
You mentioned 200 rupees. What's the unit economics of that one?
Yeah, the 200 is just in terms of, say, at a scale of about 10 lakhs, what we think we would do. But again, the unit economics is a mask, the logistics to move the mask from a person to the lab, and then a second or 2 of dog time. So in effect, it can actually go down to even as low as 50 rupees at scale.
So the 200 includes the expense, and the major expense is the delivery, right?
Yeah.
To the lab, right?
Which, if we can find the right partners, I think that could also be eased to already have that logistics infrastructure, which in India is great.
You know, I think I see all the doyens of primary healthcare, but whatever little I understand in primary healthcare, it has to be at site. just cannot be taken to that. So I don't know, maybe positioning wise or whatever, I see it's a deep science problem and I love it, the way you're solving it. And Dr. Meenal, I don't know whether you remember or not, but I did visit my lab immediately after this was done. Maspak is a good friend. But, you know, I see this probably is not really a primary screening tool. While you may think it's a primary screening tool, but primary screening has to be at the side. You know?
Yeah, point of care is important.
Primary screening, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's why I was asking you to look at some other ways of capturing the data rather than only looking at.
So on the immediate basis, it would be a laboratory developed test. And as we get data points and a much more sample size, then we can have multiple central laboratories all over the India. That can be an immediate action point.
And I'll just add, the dogs are mobile, so it is possible to have point of care. It's just not our focus.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for your time.
So thank you for sharing your concept. We now have Nikunj Malpani, the co-founder and CEO of NeoDocs, for the next presentation.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikunj Malpani. I'm co-founder and CEO of NeoDocs. At NeoDocs, we are building instant tests that can be done on the phone. Over the next 5 minutes, I'll tell you more about this. We know that today there are multiple problems that exist in diagnostics, especially primary diagnostics: affordability, accessibility, and quality. One of the problems that we're tackling is chronic kidney disease. Everyone who's a diabetic or hypertensive starts developing chronic kidney disease. The worst thing is that there are no early stage symptoms in the kidney. So by the time 90% of people realize that they're suffering from CKD, they are very close to dialysis. And if any of you has seen dialysis closely, it can be horrible. Not only is it expensive, but going for dialysis session 3 times a week, plus the medications, it affects the lifestyle or the person's life a lot. And that's also not a permanent solution. Now, CKD is rising like anything. NCD, we've spoken about NCDs over the last 2 days. CKD is one of the fastest growing NCDs. Some of the issues that exist today is that there are no easy screening tools available that can be truly point of care. Second, there is a test, urine albumin creatinine ratio, but it is expensive, not available everywhere. Thirdly, symptoms are not easily available or detectable. At NeoDocs, what we are doing is we are trying to replace the lab machine with a phone camera, essentially developing whatever a lab machine has into the phone camera itself. This is how the solution looks like. So this is the packaging that you see on the screen. Inside there's a test card like this. You dip the bottom part of the test card in urine for 1 to 2 seconds, that's it. And you simply click a photo using our app. Our app works on any phone. You just need a minimum 3 megapixel camera. It could be Android, it could be iOS. Click a photo and you get a report like this. So in 30 seconds, you get a report like this that has 11 parameters. At the bottom, you see the most important parameter, albumin creatinine ratio, ACR. But apart from this, we also give you protein, ketones, glucose, leukocytes, and nitrites, which are important for UTIs. So all of this as part of a single non-invasive test. Of course, once we developed the test, the next step was to get it validated. Is it accurate and all those things? So we've done 3 validation studies. We have a specificity of 99%, sensitivity of 96%. We've published 1 study. We've also been granted 3 patents, 2 in India, 1 in the US. So once this was done, we also thought, looking at the market, what kind of features are important. So like I mentioned, it works on any phone. We can easily integrate into existing apps. Because one of the focus is rural areas, we've also developed an offline module. It's available in multiple languages. We've integrated Aabha ID. We've gotten the approval for M1 and M2 for that. We also provide a real-time dashboard that ensures proper surveillance. After this, we started commercializing 4 broad sectors that we're working in. First, pharma companies and doctors, working very closely with them. Some pharma companies that you see on the screen. The reason they like this is because They help us distribute the kits to the doctors, which enables more testing, which enables more CKD positive patients, which leads to more prescriptions. So this is the pitch to pharma companies that we do. Second, we are working with multiple governments. Today at district levels, we are also working with Suchita ma'am's team at ICMR. They're helping us a lot with the HTA process. Also available online, OTC market, people can buy. We've also started expanding internationally, especially Southeast Asia and African markets. We have raised around $2.5 million of funding. Some Indian investors, some global investors as well. So they're helping us a lot in this endeavor. One other test, because I have time, is this. We are next developing a hemoglobin test that can work on any phone. This is a tiny device which gets attached to any phone's charging point. You do a small finger prick and you insert it into the device, and it gives you the hemoglobin value on phone. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's very good product. Are there competitors in the market?
So one is your company. But of course, I believe a little bit of competition is needed because
There's
CKD...
IIT Bombay, there is one company also which is quite popular.
Sorry? Yes, we are part of IIT Bombay Research Park. Now what we are doing is, of course, traditionally there have been dipsticks that have been around.
Yeah.
And all doctors have used this in their undergrads. Cutting those into two, looking visually, then there are auto-analyzer machines.
because cost.
What we've done is we've automated the entire process to work on a
I
phone.
understand that
And so
whole
we have
thing.
done all those things on top of that.
So what is the acceptance in the market for this?
Oh, it's been very nice, sir.
And you are doing microalbumin or albumin?
Microalbumin.
Microalbumin.
Microalbumin we are doing. We also give a protein value.
Yeah.
So endocrinologists, diabetologists, nephrologists, cardiologists, and CPs, all of them are very, very acceptive. We are working with some of the largest doctors, Dr. Vijay Kher, Dr. Arup Ratan Datta, doing joint studies with them. So yes, so it's been, of course we can do more. The aim is to take this product global because this is not just an India specific problem.
Exactly. Very good.
There are. How many tests have you sold so far? So in totality, we have sold around 3 lakh tests, 2 lakh worth of this test. In addition, we had some other tests also. One is for UTI, maternity wellness. So yes, 3 lakh tests in total. All are paid, yes.
Because you said pharma companies,
So this is all paid.
pilot and all that.
No pilot, because what I showed you, yeah, so pilot could mean 20 tests or 50 tests at a couple of doctors, but after that it's all paid. So the MRP is $599 because we're working majorly in B2B. The bulk rates are much, much lower, often under 200. And we provide all customizations and everything as all inclusive as part of the cost.
Any research publication so far, because you mentioned that there are KOLs
Yes,
involved
yes. We've done 3 studies. One study we have already published, and there are another one we are submitting along with AstraZeneca.
What's the main finding?
The main finding is diabetics and hypertensives are 2 major risk factors for CKD. Now, 44% of diabetics are CKD patients, 28% of hypertensives are CKD patients. So this is a highly growing latent disease. This is the major study. So conventional test is usually the lab auto-analyzer machine. Specificity of 99%, sensitivity of 96%.
Excuse me. So do you have stratification by EGFR of the performance of the urine ACR?
No. So
you've not compared it with traditional estimated
so,
GFR?
So for kidney, there are 2 parameters, gold standard. One is the serum creatinine, using which you calculate eGFR. The other one is the urine ACR. Now, a lot of studies say that urine ACR is an even earlier marker of chronic kidney disease than serum creatinine. So, of course, there's a KDIGO map if you're from the industry.
CKD
So you
staging is both, right?
Both.
You have eGFR
Yes.
and what the UACR is.
Absolutely.
Right, so
So
that's why my
our
question
app-
was, have you done stratification according to the stages of kidney disease.
What we do currently, sir, today in the application, we provide a feature where the health worker or the patient can add their serum creatinine value, so they can see where do they lie on the heat map.
But your studies haven't looked at that.
No, we haven't. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikunj, for sharing your testing solutions. I want to check with the jury that should we break for lunch and reassemble because we have 4 more presenters, or should we keep going?
My voters keep going.
Okay. Right, then very quickly, I will now invite K. Vijay Kumar Gupta from Rapier Let Chip Indus Private Limited for the presentation.
Thank you, friends. I am Vijay Kumar Gupta, scientist engineer, gold medalist from IIC Bangalore 40 years ago. Made my first LED on the campus and been making LEDs since that time. Worked as scientist in CEL earlier. Today, I am going to introduce our new invention, which does real-time disinfection through lighting. We all know lighting. UV lighting, but this is regular general lighting which also does the function of disinfection. It is affordable, sustainable, scalable, human safe, practical solution for preventive healthcare. We are a DIPP startup and technology readiness level is 7. So in other words, we provide non-UV real-time sterilization in hospitals and of course also in offices, schools, public spaces where people breathe out and the respiratory or airborne diseases start getting spread. And what is the main problem we are addressing? It's hospital-acquired infections. See, there is a higher rate of, increasing rate of hospital-acquired infections. Even WHO has been giving out statistics. More than 7 to 10% of the people who go to the hospital get well, but they come back with a new disease. And these are mostly MRSA, Superbugs, and many other things. And you have traditional methods of disinfection, but they are like chemical cleaning and UV light. In both cases, you have to empty the room or you have to evacuate the room. And they have also, all these have health risks and operational disruption possible. And also they are intermittently so they give temporary disinfection, and you have to require frequent application. And UV light is chemical and can pose health risks, right? We all know that. So what is the solution? We need something called continuous disinfection because people come in, they breathe out something, and it could affect the rest, pathogen level in that room, like what we are sitting here. So Rapier provides ongoing disinfection 24/7, ensuring that spaces remain sterile at all times, even in the presence of occupants. It's a human-safe technology. It works, it is harmless for the human cells, but it is harmful for the pathogen. It's cost-effective. Each device, the devices are like this. They are simple, normal lighting because the LED chip which is inside is what emits the right kind of spectrum which we need. We are talking about visible light disinfection, and this is something like a portable light which can sit in every doctor's cabin because if the patient walks in with an infection, that there is no protection for doctor throughout the day, and this is what will keep the air cleaning throughout the day. Because the whole technology is in the chip itself, for those who are unfamiliar, a tube light which you use in your home, it has got 90 LED chips inside, 96, each one of 0.2 watt. And this chip is what we are manufacturing for the last 7-8 years on automated machine in a clean room. And then we have converted this spectrum of white LED light with additional wavelength of far blue. And who are our competitors? The ultraviolet radiation, the chemical cleaning, the air purifiers, and you know that ultraviolet is cancerous, and then lifetime cost is high. The chemicals are toxic, and though the cost is low. The air purifiers are noisy, electrocution risk, wear and tear, filters and bearing to be changed. It has got high capex and medium operating costs. Whereas Rapure Immunilite, what we are showing today, is harmless for human beings. It has no maintenance, zero maintenance for 5 years, and there's no consumables. It's fit and forget. And then it has medium capex. Yeah, you have to pay upfront or in the operating place. Otherwise, you can convert into this. And then it uses no power because we are substituting the normal lighting with this light. So anyway, you needed that power for the lighting. So there's no additional real power required, and so it's a very low cost device. And what is the outcomes we are getting? So we are getting social value of Rapure in healthcare sector. One is we are cutting down the HA rate by a potential reduction up to 70%, which if we convert into some numbers, probably it works out around 4.83 million patients. And places like US, we are spending for HAI treatment because they are accountable there up to 1 lakh rupees. So it converts into 483 billion rupees, Indian rupees. And then most important thing is these are used in critical areas like ICU. So 90% reduction in infection rates in ICUs. Suppose somebody next in your bed is also TB patient. It could spread to the whole of the place. So the patient outcomes will be faster recoveries and thereby reducing the cost for the hospital as well as the patient. So we are improving the disruption reduction, the continuous disinfection without evacuation, then more efficient use of hospital resources, which will in turn reduce the cost, affordability. The community impact, it prevents community outbreaks, protects vulnerable populations, and then it reduces the overall burden of the healthcare system. It has, our products are designed, we are basically LED company for the last 35 years. We understand LEDs, so we have designed such a way that they last for 5 to 10 years. Unless today, whatever lamp you buy in the market is only guaranteed for 1 year, though LEDs are basically intrinsically 1 lakh hours lifetime. And then because we are it's LED, so the environmental impact is very less, and there are no chemical disinfectants also. So it's a well-tested and used product here. And then the market size is really mind-boggling. So we suggest that every lamp in the hospital or clinic or even the houses or commercial offices can be changed to this light. And so you are getting lighting at the same time sterile atmosphere for the to improve the health of the occupants. So we are talking about it costs roughly around 4 to 6 rupees per SFT per year. So which the total market we estimated as per our data as 7,000 crores, of which we even address it 722 crores. And if we add commercial and residential, it's a huge amount figure. So we are looking at marketing through B2C. Earlier all these days we were trying to go for B2G, but it's taking longer time. And then we are now planning to go for that, go to market. And the capacity will never be a complaint for a problem for the LED light because we are having a very vibrant EMS, electronic manufacturing systems where it can be done. And this is a breakup of the market. Yes. Yeah. So these are the basically the certificates, the credentials. CCMB has tested this earlier. The wavelength, its effect on the pathogen, all known pathogen has been very well documented. When the COVID came in, nobody knew how it will be affected, and we got it tested at CCMB on the live COVID virus and the BSL-3 lab. Within 40 minutes, within 15 minutes, 40% was down, and within 60 minutes, 95% was down. It shows the effectiveness on this, but the intensity was high there at the very, very close period. We have done it on other general pathogen, and then applied physics department of the University of MS University. They have tested the spectrum of the light, and they found that there is no UVA, no UVB, no UVC, no IR. So it's a purely visible light. And then proof of pudding is eating. The Oliva Skin Clinics, big network of 158 all UK certified doctors, they have tested it for 4 months, and then gave us a certification that none of the staff was anyway affected, though it's obvious that this thing. We have got it vetted by ICMR scientists, and they have said that based on the data is good. We have got it tested at University of New South Wales, Australia, and then we have a patent where we have got the unique combination of the chips which we use inside there. So Rapio destroys infection causing pathogen. It's safe, non-UV, disinfection safe, and safe to use in occupied spaces. Thank you.
So this is a very good technology. So this will be the market is very huge. So what is the way you want to, because you are talking about B2C.
Right.
B2C would be.
In fact, we are looking for
very small market
mentors and investors to go to market because it requires huge amount of investment when it goes to B2C, and also how to do it. So we are looking for that kind of. That's the reason for us to come and pitch here. I'm basically a scientist, but not very adept at doing marketing. So we thought that we could like to do that. Earlier, we thought that there's a low-hanging fruit of working with government departments, but then it's a long process, and we probably didn't follow the right path there.
And
But
what would
we
be
are
the cost benefit, the cost as compared to normal lighting now, whatever is used.
no, here
this
we are
is
not.
what,
There
twins
is
or-
absolutely no comparison for this. This is a device which removes the pathogen from the air. It creates sterile spaces, healthy environment. It's a preventive health care. There is no comparative product at all for this. And then it just costs you around, for a setup, around 6 rupees in the MRP level per SFT per year.
And
it's a-
normal lighting?
Normal lighting, I would not dare to compare because it's nothing to do with medical
No,
removal.
because at
right?
the end of the day, you know, anybody
No,
will
we are
say,
delivering some
okay,
value. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Sir, if we compare with the normal lighting, we are comparing it with the branded products, not the China make downgraded products. We say we are almost 35 to 40% cost higher than that. Okay, but we don't want to pitch it like the light. We want to pitch it like the disinfection solution, which is readily and safely available everywhere for everybody. Okay, and why we want to go for the B2C, because earlier we tried with the B2G. Already we have registered with too many, you can say, the agencies. We are on the JAM, and TCIL, one of the PSU, is a co-partnering with us. They already have done it for pitching in the state and the central level PSUs and the various government departments. But you understand, it's a slow process. Now
It
we
has got
want to move
interesting
it-
application even in the food processing industry. So dairy development also has tested it out, and they found very good results because of that. Similarly, in the final stages of food processing, where you don't need sterile, you need sterile places. It can be used. Again, it can be used in pharma. It can be used in everywhere where you don't need any biological contamination.
Just one question. Can it be integrated into the existing infrastructure of hospitals and these factories and everything?
Can it be integrated into?
The existing infrastructure, or does it require?
Absolutely.
Same like you are replacing
It
the
can be
existing lights
configured
with
in
these lights.
any form of lighting because the chip is a root thing. So if you have a linear light, you have a round light, you have a big light, we can add any power, any thing.
So,
Complementary to the system, or are you substituting?
No, substituting. So
Is there any scientific study which says across the pathogens which are there in the ICU?
Yes.
What kind of, IC50 or any other data which suggests that you've been able to effectively kill all the microbes?
So-
Because ICUs is a source of secondary infections. Is there any such study of that, or in any pharma environment,
essentially show a comparison of traditional UVC, which you are trying to compare your products. So you mentioned a number for yours, 15 minutes for 40% or something. You should do a comparative study with UVC and then argue how effective it is.
Because that's the gold standard, and people would love to see that.
So
data.
in the sense that, are you
Every
replacing it or are
known
you adding it?
pathogen has been subject to this wavelength, and last 2 decades, all the data is available. And then what we have done is added COVID virus on top of it to have a study.
There's a virus called MRSA.
M-
We tried that because that's
Yeah.
the highest source of secondary infection throughout the world.
Yeah,
The US has not been able to figure
Yeah, Streptococcus also has been tested out. Its data is available very much. And this basically, how it works is, probably there's a paper in front of you in the second page. Every pathogen has a endogenous porphyrin, and this wavelength photocatalytically acts on it, kicks out oxygen atom, and this reactive oxide species, it kills the bacteria because it's looking for very strong oxidation, and then it also kills this. So, yeah. Thank you so much. Pardon? Yeah, every home light, yes.
Any place. Wherever you're using
Yeah,
these lights,
it can be put on a wall, it can be put on this, and then you can move it from place to place. Say 2 hours in kitchen, 2 hours in hall.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta, for showcasing your solution. Presenters, request you to please keep your presentation for 5 minutes and 5 for the Q&A. We now have with us Dr. Abhishek Nagaraj, the CEO, and Dr. Ruchi Gupta, the COO from Vatsalya Inventures Private Limited for the presentation.
Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Abhishek Nagaraj. I'm representing We Invent today. It's my company which we registered as an LLP in 2015 in Bangalore and now registered as a private limited in 2024 in New Delhi. Our main motto was to inspire innovations in healthcare devices. See, everyone is talking about diagnosis and prevention, AI used in diagnosis and prevention. My motto is to talk about rehabilitation. In rehabilitation, we have done a lot of work and we are associated with all these premier institutes and companies and collaborated with them for rehabilitation purpose. Our main work comes from these 3 fields, that is innovation, 3D printing and maxillofacial prosthetics. This is what I'm talking about as in rehabilitation. Maxillofacial prosthodontics or prosthetics is basically something which is done on site in clinics, and most of the patients don't have access to it because specialists are very rare. Even when specialists are available, they don't have enough material or technology to use these kind of prosthetics. But what we have done is something commendable, where we have used AI in getting CT scans to make the models of the patients at our own lab rather than the patient coming to us. Patient can be treated by the doctor in their place while we give them all the support from our lab. And with this, we have reached TRL above 9, and our monthly income or everything is basically based on word of mouth till now. Our main aim basically is to upskill general doctors in providing specialist level of care and affordable maxillofacial prosthetics. So as you can see, we are bringing you to a market which is having sizable contribution in healthcare, as well as when you see a CAGR which is higher in Asia Pacific in comparison to the entire world. The main problem which specialist doctors were facing is basically the material and technology which is not available in India all these days. With the help of innovations and 3D printing, we are basically improving the ecosystem in building this kind of system where even general doctors can treat such kind of heart patients. You might have all seen mucormycosis cases during COVID. There were many patients who went without rehabilitation. I have worked in cancer hospitals, and there were patients who were just walking without mid-face or ear or eye. These kind of parts, they don't have function of mastication or having food properly. They are dependent on Ryle's tube because of these kind of things for lifetime. And this is what we particularly try to address. This case is from PGI Chandigarh, where a case was sent to us, and we have many such cases where we have digitally made the prosthesis for the patient sitting at our lab and sending it to the doctors who are working in these institutes. So what we have done is basically developed a synchronized workflow which initially started for surgical guides made in India. Initially the surgical guides were being used from foreign countries. Now we are making them in India. Similarly, we have started making maxillofacial prosthetics in India. We have served many national and international hospitals, clinics, doctors and patients themselves directly. And our market potential is huge in generating business as well as promoting employment. we've been bootstrapped. I'm going very fast, I'm sorry, they don't have enough time. So we are particularly bootstrapped company. Our R&D is basically developing this ecosystem of innovations, 3D printing and maxillofacial prosthetics. That's why, because it is an interdependent system, we've been able to capture almost 50% of profits in these kind of patients. Now, in case these facilities are not available, what happens? Patients suffer physically, psychologically, as well as economically. Doctors, even though they know the specialty or they are aware of this specialty, they are not able to treat the patients because these materials are not available, the technology is not available. Technicians themselves are very rare to be found in these kind of cases. In terms of achievements, we have developed several patentable projects in these kind of maxillofacial cases. We have published original research, and these premier institutes across India have approached us for collaboration in public-private partnerships where we would provide them these services. These are some of our cases. We are compliant in regulatory ways. We have clinical validation. Even our, the technology is being transferred to countries like UK and US, where they are asking us how we are, making this into a remote place rather than, working from the point of care or the clinical position. And we maintain data privacy by NRRD as well as our own codes of scan to model. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be presenting this, for this presentation. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. We are making
personalized.
It's all basically the way we started is getting CT scans from all these institutes. Now the idea is that CT scan is available in semi-urban areas also, and the doctors are not available in those areas. So we provide support to those doctors who are in those remote areas. They just send us the CT scan, we make the trial and we send it to them. Once they approve of that, we make the final option and send it back to them. Customized implants, it depends on the manufacturer and it depends on the material which are used. See, these are all, we are making them in conjunction with IIT Delhi. They have titanium printers also, and we are doing all the basic requirements. Yes, yes. I have an MOU with them also. So it depends on what type of application it is. There are certain silicons we import and then we provide it to the doctors, because doctors themselves ordering these silicons, it charges them too high. When we order in bulk, it comes in very less amount. And it's usually 10 to 15 days, and usually we charge about 10 to 15,000 rupees for the case.
10 to 15,000 means includes the implant, or is it only the process cost?
Most of the prosthesis is based off plastic and silicone. If it requires implants, then the cost obviously goes higher. Implants as in metal products. The PEEK or the titanium, it obviously increases the cost.
So what is this is a straightforward 3D printing sort of a thing. So where is the USP?
Sir, as I said, when a patient has requirement of such prosthesis, he first has to find a doctor who is good enough in doing this kind of work. Once he finds the doctor, he'll go to the doctor several times with analog measurements of impression and all these things, and then there is trial and all this. So what we have done is we have reduced the step by using AI in CT scan, and we make a soft tissue model of the patient, as well as analyze the hard tissue where implants can be placed.
That is
one USP. Secondly, we are doing it everything from one centralized lab where everything is controlled. When you go to a doctor, he may use multiple different approaches. We are doing it one approach. That's why our cost is also coming down to this much. And I mean, patients in PGI or KGMC Lucknow, they're not able to afford such high amount. So we are trying to reduce the cost even further.
So it's more of a service innovation.
Yes, sir. It is service innovation, but in the same, maxillofacial prosthetics, it always harbors more innovation, and patentable devices are being made out of it.
Yes.
You must have seen engineering students make functional hands and legs and all, but it all has to be somewhere applied. It cannot be just a project in engineering college. That's what we are doing. and we are patenting our own designs as well.
So you mentioned 3 revenue streams, right?
Yes, sir.
One is the upskilling, the second is the service, right?
See, our company, we started as innovations company, then we've started working on 3D printing due to prototypes. Now we have started this maxillofacial prosthetics. So these are all different income streams for our company, so as to say.
So, I'm aware of certain surgeons, who gotten into it. They have been able to scale to like 3 crore, 5 crore revenue a year. But beyond that, they're not able to go forward. What is it that you will make you go forward? I just want to understand. I think you would be knowing about Dr. John from Chennai. He's one of the finest
Nathan John.
maxillofacial surgeon. He started 3D printing probably 6 years back.
I know.
And there is a sort of a stagnation.
See, his company is called Citas. He started making hands-on models and 3D printed models for surgeries, right? Now we have taken it further, and we are aligning with companies which are nationally and internationally placed. He used to provide models only for Indian companies. Now we have taken it further, and in the same market, we are already bypassing his reach in that sense. And in this,
collaborating with him, or are you competing with him?
we are competing.
You're competing.
But his
So who's
space
the
is-
largest player, and what is the top line of that largest player in India today?
See, there are.
Are you the
different-
largest?
I'm talking about different works, right? There is innovations, 3D printing. In 3D printing, John Nason is there, right? But we have gone beyond that in 3D printing. Now I'm talking about maxillofacial prosthetics, in which there are a handful of doctors whom we can name, and they are individually placed in different places of country.
Can this be a 1,000 crore company?
Yes,
if you
that's
get
what I'm trying
20
to tell
crores,
you. That's
can
what
this
I'm.
be 1,000 crore company?
So handful of.
We'll talk on it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Nagarajan, for your presentation. We now have Ignatius Orwin Noran Ha, partner of Moziquit Solutions Limited, for the presentation.
Good afternoon. I am Arvind Noruna from Mangalore, partner of Moziquit Solutions LLP. My project, I had worked on this. I'm from commerce background. The project is to make India and the entire world free of mosquito menace in shortest span of time using our innovative device. We have recognition for DPIIT as well as Karnataka. The problem, I don't have to explain much because millions of people die every year and hundreds of millions of people suffer, and new cases or diseases being added up, like Zika recently from 2017. The presently available products are harmful chemical-based repellents. Repellents do not kill mosquitoes nor give any advantage of putting a stop on their multiplication rate. The devices in US market and also some are found in India, the light-based traps, they emit 100% UV radiation, which is not safe for the customers to use. And the profane-based mosquito traps, they have been called back in the USA because of fire hazard. Our solution is Moziquit mosquito trap. We have already developed devices in 3 models. There is a reason for me to get into this research. I had made a firm resolution when I was 5 years or 10 years old to kill and eliminate all mosquitoes from this planet. When my mother answered to my question, the reason for swelling in her left leg is because of mosquito bite. It was filaria, and my mother was getting fever every month, and she has to take tablets. Our device is, I will come in the next slide. Yeah, I have got 12 design registrations granted from Indian Patent Office, 2 process patents granted in my personal name. The track record is our one device has trapped more than 10 crore mosquitoes in 3 months used in cowshed. The cowshed market we never thought of. And I'm thankful to Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, former Director General of ICMR, when she saw 4 bottles of dead mosquitoes I had displayed. Of course, I forgot to remove those bottles from that bag. 2 crore mosquitoes I have brought here. She released 3 lakh rupees to NIMR Bangalore unit, and she said India need this type of solution, not these useless chemical-based repellents. And ICMR's scientists have already given a report, and all the species of mosquitoes being trapped by our device, and the operating cost is less than 10 paise to the smallest device and 25 paise for the bigger device. And we have a report from Bidar University that milk yield is increased, after milk yield as well as the weight of the cows is increased after using this device in cowshed. We have already got gold medal in DST Lockheed Martin, and I'm thankful to Professor Balram Bhargav, former Director General of ICMR. He sponsored my course to display this device in WHO's event in Geneva, Switzerland in 2019, which got us into the pre-qualification process. Now, WHO has asked us to submit one evidence-based report confirming the reduction in the diseases after using this device in a disease-proven area. And once that is done, the WHO will take this product in 109 malaria-infected countries already identified by them, so that it could be used in houses and cowsheds. This is the comparison we have made with the lowest cost repellents. The device repellent is costing 110 rupees, but it needs 80 rupees to be recharged every 10 days, makes it 3,121 rupees to spend in a year, whereas our upfront cost is little high, but our operating cost is 10 paise per day, which is 36 rupees per year. And as we use it for longer period, the saving goes beyond 91% against 2,860 against the cost of 31,210. The countries marked in this color are 109 malaria-infected countries. We have already sold 10,50,000 devices, and there is no complaint or any service type of work is come back to us. This I'll skip. The ask is, we are looking for raising 5 CR to set up full-fledged manufacturing unit, and also to have proper professionals in our team. The returns is too huge because every house requires this device to use, and with the investment of 5 CR, we can sell more than 24 CRs sales in the first year, which will get more than 10x returns to the investors in 6 years, and more than 25x and 100x on valuation at exit at 4th or 6th year. And this is our team. I'm a serial innovator. I have also made another innovation. It is a testimonial from 2000 in Mumbai. The driveway, instead of 12-inch thick road concrete of 28 days, I added my 4 chemicals in the same concrete mix and reduced the thickness to 4-inch. And next day, to open the road for movement of traffic, it was challenged, it was demonstrated, and today 24 years of testimonial is there. And my partner is from Hyderabad. He imports from Germany CO2-based mosquito trap, and he sells it for 45,000 rupees per device. And he observed the market potential for our device due to the low cost. This is the one I had displayed in Geneva. I will not take much time. We have signed a MOU with the Fadamullah's institution to make that report for WHO. This is FICCI Excellence Award we won in 2018. This Millennium Alliance 15 lakh rupees and Agripreneur Award. in Rashtrapati Bhavan in 2016 we had displayed, and we have won the gold medal in DST Lockheed Martin and IC Square Institute of USA, who did the due diligence of this gold medal. They have given the commercialization report to commercialize this device in Indian market. Thank you.
What's the underlying technology here? It's a pheromone trap?
I'll explain, sir. These are the dead mosquitoes. No one can even catch a 50 or 100 and show. One moment. You are aware of that?
You mentioned in your presentation.
No, that was different, 2-3 places. I think I should not hide it out. Two things I want to mention. I may take 1 minute extra, but this is very important, and my 22-year struggle I have put in this. What has happened is ICMR, yes, they were supportive. I have got everything. There is another department who is supposed to implement this product, that is National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. They have sabotaged this technology. They have fabricated, they have done the, what do you call, I'm not good in my speech or this thing because I'm not highly qualified. What they have done is they have created a false minutes of meeting. When they came to know, my product was selected and displayed in Rashtrapati Bhavan on 16th March 2016. Within 10-20 days, I received a call from Dr. Sukhbir Singh saying that in a recent time, my office was shifted to 3 addresses. My papers are misplaced. Will you please send me the brochure of your Moziquit and send me a sample? I felt a little suspicious. I did not send anything. Within next 10 days, I received a letter saying that our group experts meeting held on 27 November 2014, they have recommended this product has to be used only by the research institutions for their research, academic research. And this product, they have recommended this product should not be used under national program. Like how scientist Nambi Narayan was sabotaged and jailed for 30 years for that rocket, this thing. Same way, they couldn't put me behind bars, but they blocked it. Every time when I am sending to our PM office this, that person who sits there and sees malaria or mosquito, he sends it to the same department. I've got 10, 20 letters. Same paragraph they have added, and now, of course, this project is going to be taken up by our newly elected member of the parliament, Captain Brijesh Chauta. 2 p.m. and shortly one announcement is going to happen, Machhar Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, and all those things will be taken care. Moreover, my research, Newton, he invented that gravity, not by his invention, observation. Archimedes, he ran naked, screaming, Eureka. He got that formula of the volume. Same way, since I was engrossed with this research, with resolution of when I was 5 years to eliminate mosquitoes, I have got the next generation green technology. In every compound, we can attract mosquitoes in large numbers, and every day we can eliminate them, so that within 1 year, there won't be any mosquitoes at all, at a cost of less than, for the device, less than 50 rupees. And I have not patented that because the information is very simple. I have just put it in my locker. If something happens to me, this should not die with me. So my request with the jury members and the attendees, please, at this level, and I can forward you all the documentary evidences, how I have been sabotaged. I have done everything for the society, and you may take it up, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Last, we have NEC Corporation India Private Limited. I invite Mr. Nobuyuki Yasukawa, Director, and Ms. Neha Jain, Process Manager, for the presentation.
Okay, so this is okay, so thank you for this opportunity to explain our predictive analytics solution for health checkup. So we have created AI, predictive AI, to deliver the future checkup result using accumulated past health checkup result. The solution overview is input information is general information like age and gender, and 2 years of blood test result, blood sugar, HbA1c, triglyceride, cholesterol, and so on, and 2 years of measurement data, and height, weight, waist, BP, and 11 answers to the questionnaires regarding lifestyle, like do you drink alcohol, do you smoke, and do you do exercise, and so on. So 11 answers to the questionnaires. So the customer, user input this information, we will deliver 3 output. One is dynamic video, second one is risk simulation, and third one is lifestyle simulation. So let me show your actual demonstration. So firstly, our dynamic video.
Hello. Thank you for undergoing the health checkup and opting for NEC's service. Let's review the results together.
So this video is created for
Here are the results of your recent health checkup. There are some items that are outside the normal range. Let's consider reviewing your lifestyle habits. Specifically, the values for HbA1c seem to be concerning. Elevated HbA1c indicates that high blood sugar levels have been prevailing over a prolonged period of time. Let's examine how the deterioration in the value of HbA1c can affect your body.
So it will add explanatory video to
Glucose absorbed from the diet into the blood is taken up by the cells with the help of insulin secreted by the pancreas. Insufficient insulin secretion, for example, can lead to chronic hyperglycemia, with residual sugar remaining in the blood. If this condition persists, it can lead to serious issues such as accelerated arteriosclerosis, hypertension, dyslipidemia, and even additional complications, including diabetes. To reduce such risks, what should be done? If you understand the key aspects for reviewing your lifestyle habits, you can immediately start working on improving your life.
Okay, so this is a dynamic video. This is made to each individual based on each result. And the second one and third one is a risk simulation and a lifestyle simulation. Let me show the demonstration.
The health checkup result prediction simulation can forecast future values of your key health parameters based on historical data trends. First, let's review the future predictions if you continue with your current lifestyle. Even if your results are within the normal range now, they may deteriorate in the future. Next, let's see how the predictions change if you improve your current lifestyle. This function enables you to identify highly effective lifestyle changes recommended for you. Let's use the lifestyle improvement simulation based on the recommended changes. This will help you understand how the predictions change with a revised lifestyle. Now, let's use the health checkup result prediction simulation to assess your lifestyle.
Okay, thank you. So this is our 3 output from our AI, and the value proposition for each stakeholder are this. So for management, like our diagnostic labs, so increasing new and repeat patient, and to motivate the patient for coming back and back. And that is the one, our value proposition. And for the patient, of course, they can understand the current situation and their future values and how they can change their lifestyle effectively. So our continuous behavior change for the patient is one of the biggest value proposition. And for medical staff, they can make patient understand health issues, what is happening, what is important, what should be done. And we have implemented this solution in Japan, including our government, hospital, and private sectors also. And we have created Indian a model using Indian data. And we are currently trying to implement this to Indian diagnostic labs and hospital. And we have confirmed this improvement, like attendance rate and motivation and lifestyle improvement we confirmed the actual improvement. And in local government in Japan, we have confirmed the checkup attendance rate and lifestyle improvement rate, and our checkup values actually improved. And in private sector also, we have confirmed weight, waist, and BP, and so those kind of the measure the health values are improved. And also in private sector, this solution is used for the follow-up of the patient who has a very high risk. So our doctor is using this solution to explain this is the status and what you should be done. And sometimes patient cannot follow their behavior change suggestion. So the doctor is using this simulation. So why don't you choose this behavior change rather than this or this? Okay, so that's all for my presentation. Thank you. We are currently working on that. Yeah, with the hospital. It depends. Firstly, I think we are going to market in private sector, diagnostic labs. It's easier, but it can be used for B2C, B2B, and B2G is also. It's everywhere. So we're in private sectors and in some enterprise and some government.
Which channel contributes the highest revenue?
It's private hospitals in Japan.
Private hospitals?
Yes.
But the solution has been implemented with Ministry of Health in Japan from last 10 years?
Yeah, 9 years, yes.
And you're the exclusive partner vendor for them?
Or in Japan?
For Japan government?
No, we are providing. Yeah, we are providing this solution to government directly. Yeah.
Any questions from the jury?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, when you're tracking, let's say, the test for about 2 years, how frequent is that? Once in a year, or is it quarterly, or how is it?
Okay, so once in a year at any timing, like I'm explaining. Oh, okay, so this is shown in here. So or even in the patient take our annual checkup in July 2020 and or maybe January 2023. So it's okay. So once in a year is mandatory.
And how do you account for medication being given? Let's say I have parameters for which I'm taking. Let's say I'm diabetic, I'm taking a medication, right? How do you account for that?
So we are using this for, how can I say? We are collecting information from the user. So if you take our medicines, your values will be decreased because of the medicine. So this is kind of the disclaimer is shown here. And also in Japan, we have created AI model that can manage the patient with medication and without medication.
The question was, does your algorithm cater for medication or does it not cater for medication? So how does the algorithm work when I'm taking medication, let's say for 2 diseases, and does it account for it or doesn't account for it?
It does. There are 2 types of algorithm, one with the medicines as you asked, and there is one which is the lifestyle one.
Sure.
You have a mandatory annual check
Yes, yes.
in Japan, and all of that data comes automatically into encoded format,
Right.
standardized formats.
Right.
Okay. Which we don't have in India.
Yeah, but
That's why we are here. So
Yeah,
how do we replicate the same in India?
Insurance could be a good way for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, actually, there is an incentivization if you go through insurance.
For them to keep their people.
It's already
Healthier,
happening.
healthier, yeah.
It's already happening.
This is more scientific and more systematic for them actually. You have a B2B opportunity there rather than trying to hit the consumer.
So we are working with few diagnostics labs. We have started very recently, and that's how you want to simulate it for the Indian environment.
As long as you're able to upskill their revenue, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think the use case seems to be, Samir, you may disagree or agree, but I think with this kind of model, their revenue will go down. We have to probably see the economic outcome and based on have a look.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
So this brings us to the end of the session. Thank you, presenters. Thank you, jury members and the audience for your time. We can have a group photograph of all the presenters with the jury, and we'll open for lunch. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
So Rajan, who used to be your one of the first person to help Bharat in India, was my colleague at Dow's Foundation. You want to sit down? Yeah, you can just send me the